Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, we look at the very Texas town of Gun Barrel City, Texas, where a woman had many bad relationships, some ending in mysterious disappearances. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed.
Intense, man.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
We are excited and pumped up to be back home and recording in our normal environment.
Recovering.
We had confusion with releases, and we had the whole Spotify
Holy
issue.
what
Rebecca,
was that?
We have
Jesus.
no idea. Nobody knows why that happened. We have no clue. We apologize. We almost killed poor Sarah with messages saying, "Are you on Spotify?" She was ready to murder all of you, just to let you know, because she got about 7,000 messages saying, "What's up with Spotify?" And so she was pulling her hair
They sent
out.
her and then sent him right to me.
To us too, yeah. But she actually has to answer them. That's the difference.
I was answering.
I wasn't answering
trying
shit.
my best to try to tell people we're down. We're down.
We put a post out. Hey, before you send us something and ask something, just check the social media first. Because if you're sending it to us on social media, you're on there.
Right.
So check to see if we posted about it, because we probably have addressed it. So just give it a quick run through. We're happy to get all your messages, but before you send, don't tack on.
Shit.
Just go, let me see if that. Okay, good, it's been answered.
There
Because
it is.
It was.
Look, there's the
Ahead of
solution to
time.
my problems.
Oh, look, 6,000 people already asked. Let me just read what the answer to those are. But thank you for caring. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And thank you, most of all, we want to thank everyone who came out all across the country to our live shows.
One of you.
Every one of you in every city. We had such a great time. I mean, it nearly killed us both, obviously, with just the level of travel we were doing. But my God, it was awesome to meet you guys.
Insane.
You guys, it was great. Thank you to Zanies for completely having their shit together in Nashville. Therefore, we got to give you an episode last week. But this week, it's a crazy one. Thank you, everyone, for your iTunes reviews. You guys are awesome on that. We're blown away by that. We're in an iTunes, we're in rarefied iTunes review area of people that have had shows for 6 years on there and are highly rated, and we have the same amount of iTunes reviews as that type of person.
It's ridiculous.
And it's because of you guys. So thank you so much. It's not us, it's iTunes and that funky damn algorithm that's dancing around. If you haven't done it yet, please get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars.
It's so hairy.
It's so hairy, and it needs to be fed reviews. It doesn't matter what you say. The 5 stars are important, but you got to say something because it helps and it weighs heavily too. So it doesn't matter. Just tell us your favorite type of sandwich, because I love sandwiches, and I would love to read about sandwiches as much as I do to eat them. So it's fine. Tell us that. If that's not enough for you and you want to be one of our superstars,
holy shit, do we have a list?
Like we're going to talk about. We have a great list of amazing producers who have you guys make this whole thing possible. Let me tell you something. You really do. It's every dime you give us is immensely appreciated and helps us out so much. So if you want to do that,
you got us around this country. You
really did.
You really did.
Thank you, guys. If you want to do it was a lot to do with you. If you want to do that, you can go to patreon.com/crimeinsports and you can make a donation there. Or you can go to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com.
There it is.
You can make a one-time donation. Anything is appreciated. Thank you guys so much for that. Thanks for everything. Merchandise, information, all that sort of thing you can get at shutupandgivememurder.com. That's pretty easy to remember. You can do that. There's links to everything there and donations and all that good stuff. But it's the time of the show where we have to do the disclaimer here because we got a wild story we have to get into. We can't waste too much more time. We just had to thank everyone for the live show thing because we were honestly blown away by that. But yes, this is a comedy podcast.
It is.
All the facts are real. It's true. All the research, everything is all real. The cases are real. But we're comedians. We're stand-up comics. We're going to make jokes. We make jokes about small towns because we're all from a shitty small town. Make jokes about bumbling police forces who maybe let a murderer go for 10 years. We make jokes about murderers because fuck them. They're murderers. So why not? That's our recourse that we can have as comedians. Not like we can go in and prosecute them for an extra 10 years. We have nothing we can do.
Or heckle them when they're getting the death penalty.
We're not there. So this is our version of heckling them while they're getting the death penalty. So this is what we do. We try not to make jokes at the expense of the victims or of the victims' families because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. That's how we do that.
True.
So with that said, you're in the car with us. We're on the way to the liquor store, like we've always said. And we're going to rob the liquor store. All of us are. If somebody accidentally sprays the tiny Korean woman's brains all over the Marlboros behind the counter, or the Dickel back there, the cheap whiskey that people love to bring us because we mentioned it, and Jimmy will drink the shit out of, you're on board too, and you're just as guilty. So buckle up and have a good time with us because it's going to be fun. Without further ado, I think it's time. I think I know what you're saying out there. I think you're saying, shut up and give me murder. Let's do that. Let's shut up. Let's give them murder. Okay. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Yeah, let's do it.
This, by the way, is a special Mother's Day edition of Small Town Murder, and you'll see why as the story develops. But this is our Mother's Day special. This is as warm and cuddly as we get right here. This is like at the end of a sitcom when everyone's out on the stage with their mom, like in 30 Rock there with Tracy Morgan, Tracy Jordan, and his the actress mother and all that. That's what we're doing now. We're waving.
Waving to the crowd.
This is for our moms, everybody. It's a
flowers.
nice Mother's Day edition, and we did it as a live show, and it was too good to not. We can't not have an episode of this show, and you were too drunk to remember anyway. So let's move on. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Boy, did I get hammered.
You got hammered a lot.
Holy shit.
All the nice people out there facilitated that.
They sure did.
Very well. You ready to go on a trip,
Yeah,
Jimmy?
let's go.
Let's go on a trip. Let's do this. We're going all the way to Texas.
Okay.
We were in Idaho last week.
Yeah.
Going all the way to Texas, all the way to Gun Barrel City, Texas.
That's fucking...
Which is the most Texas name I've ever heard a town called.
Sure.
It literally might as well be called Woo Texas. Like that it might as well be. That should
Come
be the name.
on down to Yeehaw, Texas.
Yeehaw, Texas, everybody. Yippee-ki-yay, Texas. That's just outside of Houston.
Come on down to Suey, Texas.
I think that's Arkansas. Yeah, they were like, fuck that shit.
It's just a southern.
They'd kill each other, though, over that. You know they would. With sticks and fucking rocks.
With sticks.
Not even with guns. Sticks and rocks and like hog butchering implements and shit like that. They would attack each other. It would be a horrible war between Texas and Arkansas.
Suey.
Jimmy is trying to start Civil War Part 2. Hillbilly Boogaloo over here.
Hillbilly Boogaloo.
Backwoods Boogaloo. Yeah. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Man, so here we are in
Shantytown Boogaloo. I
Yeehaw,
like it.
Texas, right here. It's in eastern Texas over there. Not that it matters. Texas is pretty much Texas all the way through.
Texas is eastern Texas, except El Paso.
Just
Everything else
Texas.
is eastern Texas.
It really is.
There's nothing in West Texas.
Amarillo, which
Fuck
is nothing, as we've talked about.
Fuck them.
That counts as nothing,
Yeah.
I think. I've been to Amarillo, and I just was like, I hope it ends soon, and I can get on the other side of this border and get out of this goddamn state.
That shit is just Oklahoma.
It's pretty much
all
South Oklahoma
Yeah.
over there. Like, we don't want that.
Right.
Y'all can have it. We had enough dust.
Right.
We figured y'all would want some. So it's about an hour outside of Dallas. So, I mean, you can at least go to Dallas for whatever that's worth for you. I hear Dallas is a cool city. I don't know. I haven't spent much time there outside of your terrible airport.
I've been forced to spend hours on end at their bullshit airport.
Godforsaken, awful airport as you run to catch a tram to go 5 miles to the next terminal. When your flight's 45 minutes and you have a layover of 45 minutes.
I've
Nice
never
setup.
had a layover that was less than an hour there. Every time I get there, every time I book a flight, it says layover of 40 minutes, layover of hour 10, and I get there and it's like 4 fucking hours.
Thank fuck, because otherwise you'd miss the flight. Because that next terminal is in Houston. That's the problem. It's just outside of Galveston, that other terminal there.
Fucking horrible airport.
It's a bad airport. Anyone who's been to Dallas is like, yes.
No,
I hate those trams.
They don't know how to organize an airport.
No, they really
not.
don't. They screwed it all up. It's about 3.5 hours to Houston, so it's just that eastern Texas kind of. I guess you could make a small triangle out of you can make an acute triangle out of the
Austin, Dallas, San Antonio area.
Dallas, Gun Barrel City, Houston triangle. You could make a very acute triangle. It'd be very sharp, but you could do it. It's in Henderson County, where everything is. Like, I don't know, Henderson County. Zip code 75156, area code 430, and they had to tack another one on there because there's just too much Gun Barrel City for that ass.
Because
with
double
903.
barrels.
Double barrel, yes. Now it's 903.
Right.
6.6 square miles in total. 0.4 of it is on water because a lot of this is on a lake.
Okay.
Gun Barrel City eases up to a lake. That's what they do with a lot in Texas. It's like you have cities. I've noticed this a lot. Yeah. There's just dusty towns that are just terrible, but you have Dallas and Houston and San Antonio. San Antonio's on the river.
Yeah.
Houston's kind of near the ocean.
Yeah.
Dallas is just in Dallas.
Yeah.
Everything else, if they have a town that has more than like 400 people in it, there's a big hole that they've just made a lake out of. And we'll find out that's what they did here, where they just basically put a hose in the ground, dig a hole, put a hose in it like you would, your kid's kiddie pool.
Right.
And you go, that'll fill eventually.
Right. Just give it time.
Start zoning. People gonna want a jet ski. That's all I'm gonna say.
Start zoning.
Start zoning out them houses while it's still filling.
Figure out where the market's gonna be.
That's it right there. So I feel like that's how it goes here. So it's a lot of these towns are like, nobody gonna come here unless there's something. Water. I don't know. Something. We need water because it's dry as a shit out here.
We need fun.
We need fun. Here, the town motto, as we love the town mottos. They're one of my favorite things. Town motto here, pew pew.
Yeah,
no, just kidding. That's town motto is actually, if I get my hands on that rabbit, I'm gonna. No, that's not either. They're Mayor Yosemite Sam
For sure.
jumping around, firing guns into the air. They don't need a fucking motto. The town is called Gun Barrel City.
Yeah.
I think enough said.
We get it.
Yeah.
You're vicious.
That's what I mean. Texas is enough on its own, just that. You don't even need a town name. But when you throw in Gun Barrel City, that's fucking terrifying. It's a terrifying place. They actually do have a motto, though, and this is no shit, and I know I've just given you fake ones, but this is no shit. Their actual motto is worse than mine, I feel like. It's just as stupid. quote, we shoot straight with you.
Perfect.
Which sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
That sounds like if I said, okay, what would a dumb marketing company say for this? I know. Gun Barrel City, we shoot straight with you. Ha look at how brilliant we are. 5,000, please.
Given 10 guesses, we could have figured that one out.
That's what I mean.
If you said it's a pun, figure it out.
It's a pun,
right.
And they really have one. They hired an ad agency. We would have figured that one out, definitely.
Sure.
Something about shooting, I feel like.
Yeah.
They shoot for the stars. We shoot for, we shoot black
shoot
people.
something.
Something, I feel like, maybe. I don't know. I feel like that they would be like, I like that one. I like that second one about the black folk. I think I like it better. So, the history of this town, the county is named in honor of James Pickney Henderson, who was a hero to all of us, obviously.
Yeah,
I had posters on my wall growing up of James Pickney Henderson.
I was really bummed when they took him off the 2.
Weren't you? I was pissed. I was livid. I'm like, if it's not going to be Dolly Parton on the 2, then we're keeping him. But they took him off. What are you going to do? He's the first Attorney General of the Republic of Texas.
Okay.
So he was the Attorney General of a failed, defunct enterprise. Good job, asshole. Nice. So he's basically pick a defunct country, the Attorney General of that.
Right.
The first one, too. That wasn't even established for a while.
Right.
He's basically just a rebellious asshole at that point.
He's the CEO of any defunct search engine. That's
all.
him.
Yeah, CEO of, I can't even think of it.
Dogpile.com.
Dogpile, is that an actual
That was one,
I don't remember that.
I remember that one.
Jesus, that sounds terrible.
Before Google beat them all. It was Dogpile and some other shit.
And the Yahoo thought they were going to do something for a while. And
they're
like it's a terrible search.
We'll stick to getting people laughed at when they have us as an email service.
Bing?
Bing was one. Yeah.
I remember that was terrible what they wanted you to use for a while. It's like, no, we have Google. We're fine. No. Yeah, Yahoo, that's the way you can tell if somebody's older now.
Yeah.
Someone's at yahoo.com. You're like, you're over 48 years old, I would say. Just to throw in a guess out there.
Or you're Jimmy and you're 38.
Or
37. Am I 37? I'm 37.
You updated yours, though.
I do have an iCloud also.
You realized you had a problem, and you fixed it. And I'm proud of you for that.
I wrote my email on a couple of W-9s for comedy clubs, and they were like, really?
Seriously?
The manager of the club said, really?
Wait, your email address and your date of birth don't match up, sir. I'm sorry. Those are in conflict with each other.
Tell me you don't get your news here, sir.
It says here you're supposed to be 60. This says you're only 37. So we're going to have to
fix this.
We're going to have to back that up a little bit.
You're going to have to make yourself a new one.
Jesus Christ. So this guy later served as the governor of Texas, as the first governor of Texas, actually, when I guess when they became a state.
Yep.
Henderson County was established in 1846, which is the year after the Texas became a state. So then he became governor, and they're like, fuck it, let's start naming shit after him, which is what they do everywhere. It was its first town in this county was Buffalo. That was the town, Buffalo, Texas.
What the fuck?
Laid out in 1847. Buffalo, Texas, where I guarantee you there was no buffalo left because there's a lot of gun barrels there, as we might imagine.
Also, there's already one. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Stop naming. Well, they might have actually named it that because there was buffalo there, possibly. But I don't think there's buffalo outside of Rochester. I would hope not.
You're probably right.
I doubt it. Maybe there was. I don't think so, though. Western New York.
The only place that gets to do it anymore is fucking Wyoming. That's the only place.
Yeah, you can have a buffalo because you don't have any people. And there's actually buffalo wandering
Fucking
there
everywhere.
trying to get into the roads past those fences you have up. I don't know, because there's buffalo wandering everywhere. You have more fucking buffalo than people. That's a problem. So you guys went the opposite way. Everywhere else, they're like, shit, the buffalo, they're gone. They're like, no, they're not. We get there. They're all here.
They moved. They just they decided not to be where you are,
now
and they are where we are.
And there's more of them than us. And we're getting worried, honestly. We think they're planning something. I'm just thinking. I see them all gathered up together, looking all brown.
I've heard that they're delicious, but I'm afraid to try them and piss the others off.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm afraid to piss the others off. They're going to get angry. I see them stirring. They're stirring.
They heard we ate one, and now they're mad.
They're getting whored up about it. I don't like it. They put Cedar Creek Reservoir in here between Henderson and Kaufman counties, both of there. There's a big giant reservoir we don't need to talk about because it's boring as shit.
Okay.
The town Gun Barrel City takes its name from a former road in the area called Gun Barrel Lane, which is currently State Highway 198. As well as the symbol of, that's why the town seal is 2 crossed pistols.
Perfect.
It's exactly what you would think it was. Like if you had a Gun Barrel City, you'd be like, let's put a fucking tree on it. They are going to be expecting redneckery. Let's not do this.
Their town seal is a gangster's belly tattoo.
Pretty much. much. Like but with old-timey Texas pistols. So like if a gangster was in like 1880 and was getting tats, that's what he would get on it. Like cowboy life, bitches, you know? Like on Tombstone.
Sweet Pete, that's ridiculous.
That's what Johnny Ringo would have got.
Johnny Ringo for sure would have had that.
Cowboy life with 2 cross pistols.
He got like Cud Life tattooed across his belt.
Yeah, you know he did. He had to have. Like, what's up with 2 cross pistols, obviously. So, this town, or this lane, it was Gun Barrel Lane, and it was apparently this was a safe backwoods place to make and gather your alcohol for sales during Prohibition. This Bonnie and Clyde have said to have hung out in this area.
Is that right?
These kind of pals. This was, they're people. There was a guy apparently that would hang out in a window at the end of the road to make sure there was people that were supposed to be coming with a shotgun out the window, waiting to shoot you if you weren't supposed to be there. So that's how it became Gun Barrel Lane. And they said, that's charming. Let's name the whole town after it. That'll bring in all the families, I feel like.
Very welcoming.
The school systems will be good if we base it on that. Everything's going to be wonderful. Jesus
Very
Christ.
Cosmopolitan.
Very cosmopolitan. We'll be big as San Francisco by next year and just as sophisticated.
He crossed me for a liar and I shot him.
I shot him. Oh, man. Oh, okay, Turkey Jack. Is that
Turkey Creek Jack Johnson.
Turkey Creek Jack Johnson. So, Jesus Christ.
And Vermilion, I forget the other guy. Texas Vermilion something or other.
Yeah. One guy looks like Ed Norton a lot.
Yeah.
He looks just like Ed Norton in that exchange. This town began as an unincorporated community known as Old Bethel Community. They didn't incorporate the town until the 60s, and they only incorporated it so they could sell alcohol there and draw people. Okay. They were like, if we incorporate this, because there's dry counties around it, there's dry shit around it, dry towns are like, everyone's going to come here for booze. Mm-hmm. We fill that hole with some hose water. They're going to jet ski around, shit based on it. We got ourselves a town. Woo! Right. That was the meeting.
Somebody start the hose. Everybody start pissing.
That's how the town meetings end there, by the way.
Pew, 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 pew.
Somebody says, woo, and then everyone fires their guns up into the air. And when the first chunk of ceiling plaster falls onto the table, the meeting's adjourned. That's their version of a gavel. Hunk of ceiling falling down.
Yeah.
They had a vote in the area around this, whether they were going to be a town or not. It won by 4 votes.
4 is all it takes.
It's all it takes. So this whole shit could have not happened if a couple people went the other way. Like 3 people voted the other way. We're talking about a completely different place, totally different time. Mother's Day is ruined. Okay. So it's incorporated in 1969. It's a home rule city, which we've talked about before, and it's boring as shit. It just means that nothing, basically. It means nothing. It's just they feel like they're more independent and they're not. Big fucking deal. It's the Cedar Creek Lake here. This is the main access point is Gun Barrel City. That's why it's even a place, like we said. It started out mainly as like kind of either vacation weekend town or retirees with some money in their pocket from Dallas would move there because it's like an hour outside of Dallas, and you can still have the grandkids come visit you on the weekends and shit like that. They have some big lake homes there for richer people. In 1987, community residents had a local beautification project where they collected aluminum cans as a fundraising project to help restore the battleship Texas.
What?
Which that's a lot of goddamn cans, unless they were restoring it with the cans.
Yeah,
just taping,
tack welding it up.
Yeah, just soldering fucking Miller Lite cans to the side of a battleship. That seems like you'd need a lot of cans.
That would look kick-ass, though.
It would be shimmering in the sea. I feel like everyone would see us coming, though. That would defeat the purpose of a battleship at that point. Like, what the hell is that?
Blinding shit coming this way?
The sun is about to attack us, I believe. Oh, no, that's the battleship Texas. Those drunken hillbillies. Never mind. Why'd I give the enemy a southern accent? I just gave, presumably at this point, I don't know, Russians or Koreans or somebody like that. I gave them a southern accent.
I want to see a Chinese fella with a southern accent now.
Sahara Desert fart fact of the week. North Koreans, you've never seen one really talk, actually have Texas accents. So I bet you didn't know that. That's a fart fact right there.
I would love that to be so fucking true.
Kim Jong-un up there, and he's like, listen, let me tell y'all something. And you're like, what the fuck? How'd that happen? He's
y'all,
like,
we will not stop our nuclear proliferation.
I ain't taking nobody's shit no more. Now, I've taken plenty of shit, and then the ceiling falls down and he leaves. Jesus Christ.
Fuck your sanctions.
Fuck your sanctions. In May of 2000, they elected their 13th mayor. And I feel like people are a little too drunk here because they elected a 21-year-old kid named Randall Ty Thomas, who sounds like one of the kids from Home Improvement, I believe. He's a 21-year-old entrepreneur and newspaper publisher. And so he had charisma. They elect this kid. He ends up resigning in May of 2001.
When did he get elected?
2000, May of 2000. He barely lasted a year. Following a grand jury indictment on one count of misdemeanor perjury. And then later on that very same week, he's arrested in the street by the Gun Barrel City Police Department for public intoxication. He said, I'm going to step down now.
Mayor.
I had a good run.
A 21-year-old mayor.
Maybe that's why you don't elect 21-year-olds as mayor. Once in a while, they're going to get drunk in the street, and that happens.
And they tell lies still.
And you go youthful indiscretion, and he's like, no, but he's in charge of shit. He has to, like, approve our budgets. Like, he's in charge of the cops.
The little
we can't
asshole
have
is signing checks.
Absolutely. Jesus Christ.
That's hilarious. That you know somebody in that town called their mayor a little asshole.
Yeah, this little asshole. This son of a bitch.
That's fantastic.
Well, somebody dunk him in the lake now. He needs Christ. And we can dunk him, and he's going to be all fixed up now.
We need somebody. Bless the lake, and we will baptize that little bastard.
That little bastard.
Asshole.
It's a little asshole. So population in this town somehow is 5,985 people, which is up 70% since 1990, which is a shitload. It's kind of all Western towns are up. Every Western town we do, it's like, that's up 80% since 1990, because then everyone fled the East Coast and Northeast in 1990.
Think people still are just sick of the snow?
I think people are sick of the snow, I think, and people retire. People live longer, I think, too, so that when they retire, there's more retirees going to places because they're all, everybody's got a handful of pills that they take every morning to keep them the fuck alive, where they would have dropped dead 30 years ago, just had a stroke and died like a normal person. You fucking selfish old bastards. So median age in this town, 49.3, which is 12 years older than the national average because there's a lot of retirees here. So that's normal. Female population is almost 54%, which is way higher because fuckers always outlive us.
They do it. They figure it out.
Whenever there's an old person town, going to be more females. Sorry, just every goddamn time. And there's about 3 times as many widows as normal. Again, that's why your population is mostly female and older. That sort of thing. Higher divorce rate here than normal also. So people aren't staying together, whether it's voluntary or not. They're getting the shit out of marriages in this town. Not a lot of like single people with no children in this town because this is not kind of a swinging town. I think all the people single with no kids are like 82 and they've outlived their kids. It's the only reason. Race of this town, shockingly 91% white.
Holy white.
In Gun Barrel City, Texas, aren't you all surprised, everybody? Black 1.62.
They're not white, James. They are red, white, and blue.
White. They're white. They're red, white, and blue. 1.62% black, 0.0% Asian. They were like, I feel like a railroad's going to get laid down at any time. We're getting out of here.
Shit is scary.
We're going because we have no choice in the matter. We're like, no, sir, I own my own business and I have a family. And I said, like, no, railroad. Hammer is shit in the come on, Ching Wang, let's go do this. They're like, no,
railroad.
I've been here for 3 generations. What are you talking about? I went to college.
Ching Wang.
Stop it. Yeah, right there. Ching Chang. Let's do this. Come on now. Lay that railroad. Really nobody else. 5% Hispanic. I feel like they're like, we have to let a few Mexicans in. They're right there. So we have to let them in. 51% of the people in this town are religious, which is a little bit above average, but less than I would consider in Gun Barrel City, Texas. 10% Catholic, 0.71% LDS. They sniff hopelessness. They're like, there's some people here. I sense it.
We're going to convert them.
We're going to convert them.
We're going to make them.
There's some Mexicans. We've been looking for them.
Betcha.
We're recruiting them because they fuck like a crazy person. They
sure
reproduce, and it's beautiful. We're going to make more of us. 0.0% Jewish.
They're just breeding tithes. That's what they're doing.
0.0% Jewish, obviously. They're like, Gun Barrel City, Texas? No, thank you.
Absolutely not.
No, thank you. I don't think so.
We've seen plenty of those.
Yeah, we're good. Thanks. 0.0% Islam, too. They're like, maybe we'll stay out of Gun Barrel City, Texas.
Yes.
I feel like if those people hear any accent, they're shooting first and asking questions later. And that ain't Mexican. You ain't talking Mexican, are you?
I don't hear you rolling no R's.
No. 22% of the people here are Democrats, 77% Republican, which is not surprising for Gun Barrel City, Texas.
I'm just surprised it's not higher.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Unemployment rate's about average. Household income here, average in the country, is $54,000. Here it is $37,000. Yeah. So a little bit lower here in Texas in general. It's a lower income just in everything. I know cost of living is lower in a lot of places, but we'll find out where it is here.
Great.
Cost of living here overall, we say 100 is par average. Overall here in 90s cost of living, so not that cheap.
No.
Housing being the lowest of them at 76.
Okay.
So you can get a decently cheap house here. Median home cost in the United States is $185,800. Here in Gun Barrel City, it is $142,000. So it's a little lower for a house. And if we've convinced you, the only place for you to live is Gun Barrel City, Texas.
Well, pew, pew.
Pew, pew. We have for you the Gun Barrel City, Texas Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom apartment here goes for $940, which seems high based on the cost of living. It's about $100 less than the national average, and it's way less cost of living as far as housing.
Lower,
That's what I would think. God damn it! Three-bedroom, two-bath house I found 1,584 square feet. I found for $85,000.
There you go.
So that's not bad.
That's where you save the money.
That's not bad. I found a three-bedroom, two-bath, 2,000 square foot house for $210,000. That one's not too bad. It's a little nicer on the inside. It's done, it's a little more updated.
Got it.
And then I found a three-bedroom, three-bath, 3,600 square foot on the lake with an own little boat ramp, I guess.
Slick and all that shit.
Really, you could just get a shovel and a hose and everything. You could make more lake if you wanted, but this is right on the lake that they already have. Lake proper, $624,500 for this.
Holy shit.
So if you want to live around the water, it's going to cost you.
And you've killed it in life and can retire with a huge nest egg.
It's a Gun Barrel City.
Nobody else has it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Things to do here: boating, fishing, lake, horse shit. Just get out, jet ski, and dick around. The Gun Barrel City Easter egg hunt takes place every year.
Sure.
They broke it down into 3 different age groups, so your 12-year-olds won't be knocking over your 3-year-olds.
That's nice of them.
Over 10,000 eggs with candy and prizes.
Oh.
It's a shitload of eggs. How many kids are... There's 5,000 people who live in the town. What do you...
What kind of prizes can you put in an egg?
A coupon to the Waffle House. I have no fucking idea. Give this to your mom.
Fucking ring.
They have an open city council meeting every year, all the time. That's another thing you can do. Be careful what you say, because apparently people have said bad enough shit in a council meeting to where they need to put a warning on the front page of the website of what you're not allowed to do at council meetings. Okay? They describe how everyone's allowed to speak at a council meeting. It's an open meeting, and it says, quote, at times, statements may be made by those individuals that the city of Gun Barrel City does not agree with or condone. Any views or opinions made by any citizen, appointed board member, employee, or official of Gun Barrel City toward any person or group based upon the person or group's race, color, gender, or creed do not represent the views and opinions of Gun Barrel City and will not be tolerated.
My Christ.
Stop saying the N-word in the council meetings, goddammit. You're making us look bad. I just said Jew and there ain't none here. What's it? They're like, still, stop it. Don't do that. You're making us look like an asshole.
You said Jew real mean, though.
We said Jew.
Right.
The E was like 4 syllables. That's not.
You called a Catholic a cheap Jew. Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do. And then you called a Jew, one that wandered through town, something Catholic. You called him a drunken kid touching Mick, and we were like, that ain't right. You can't be doing that.
You're confused, Terry. That's what we're telling you.
Crime rate in this town. Double the average here for crime rate. People just stealing your shit, jet skiing across the lake away from you. Yeah. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, assault. The Mount Rushmore of violent crime here is slightly above average for some reason. So they'll steal your shit. They won't kill you as much. Maybe they're old. They're a little calmer. Let's talk about someone who ended up in Gun Barrel City, Texas. Okay. Our Mother's Day star here.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about Betty Lou Dunavant at the time. She's going to be Betty Lou Beats later on, is what she's known to the world as, but Betty Lou Dunavant at the time.
The headphones or
she's
the
born.
vegetable?
BEETS, the vegetable, not the headphones. She is actually Dr. Dre. Her family sued Dr. Dre and said, those are it's our idea, and we will not tolerate this anymore. So she's born.
You just changed an E to an A, Doc.
They're claiming it. Right. We came up with it. Oh.
We want to see your doctor credentials,
Where
sir.
are you? I see nothing on your walls now.
Where'd you graduate, sir?
Where'd you graduate? Well, she was born in Roxborough, North Carolina on March 12th, 1937. So she's an older lady we'll talk about. Roxborough, North Carolina, not a huge metropolis.
No.
As we'll find out, very rural. Her family had a hard time when she was growing up. According to her childhood was insanely traumatic.
Yeah.
Now, it makes sense. Some of the things she says may or may not be true. They're disputed by family members, but you can't really tell someone what their experience was. Who knows? But when it comes out, when the details of her childhood comes out, it's very convenient for her to come out at that time. It's one of those we don't know. But what is undisputed is her parents were excessively poor because they were tobacco farming sharecroppers.
Jesus.
So, they were living like, freed slaves in like 1868 that couldn't get up north or some shit. Yeah. So that's how they were living down there.
And which state were they in at this
point? This is North Carolina, Roxborough, North Carolina. So they're sharecropping, tobacco farmers.
Duke's there, right?
And Duke is in over by it's in Raleigh by where is it? Chapel Hill is
I was
the
just
one.
thinking about because that's what the tobacco farmers kind of fucking made those universities down there.
Tobacco farmers made that whole state. That's why cigarettes are like $3 a pack down there. Still, probably, I think. They're like, please, no, smoke, please,
and less addictive.
Everywhere else, no smoking, please. They're like, smoking, please,
please have one,
please, really. My child needs to go to college, and so unless you smoke, that ain't gonna happen.
It will settle your stomach after a meal,
and it will.
Yeah.
So they are everyone, kids. Go ahead and smoke.
Right.
Why don't you? No.
Right after your macaroni and cheese.
Brought to you by the state of North Carolina and Small Town Murder. Smoking. Good for you. Yeah. Good for business.
Good for you. Good for me.
Good for you. Good for me.
Yeah.
Good for business. Smoking. I don't smoke, actually.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't smoke. So, as if we needed to say that, but there's going to be somebody out there going, I think they just told kids to smoke, and I'm going to get tweets. Save your fucking tweets. We'll pin it on social media. Remember, check the social media, see if we said, never mind, don't smoke. So,
I had to turn down the radio and all that shit.
All that shit. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little more about Casper mattresses.
Casper.com.
Casper.com is where you can get a wonderful, amazing, refreshing night's sleep. You can be sure of your purchase with Casper's 100-night risk-free sleep on it trial, which is amazing. You can get $50 right now towards select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/smalltown and using smalltown at checkout. It's incredible. These are the best mattresses. You spend 1/3 of your life sleeping, so you should be comfortable. The experts at Casper work tirelessly to make a quality sleep surface that cradles your natural geometry in all the right places. The original Casper mattress combines multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface with the right amount of both sink and bounce. With over 20,000 reviews and an average of 4.8 stars across Casper, Amazon, and Google, Casper is becoming the internet's favorite mattress, all designed, developed, and assembled in the USA. Casper is a sleep brand that makes expertly designed products to help you get your best rest one night at a time. Visit Casper.com/smalltown right now and use the promo code SMALLTOWN at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. That is Casper.com/smalltown and use the code SMALLTOWN at checkout to get $50 towards select mattresses.
Casper.com/smalltown and smalltown at checkout gets you $50 on select mattresses. Go now. And now back to the show.
Her parents, like I said, in addition to being sharecroppers, were also both very, very bad alcoholics, too. So this is not an easy life, I don't think, for a child to grow up with alcoholic parents who are sharecropping tobacco. Luckily, this was only for her very young life. Everybody in the area was poverty stricken too. This was not like they were looking at the big house across the street or anything. Sure. Everybody was a sharecropper here. She's the second child of her parents, James and Louise. So they grew up in North Carolina in a small pine cabin with no electricity, no running water, and this is no glass in the windows. That's not a window. No. That's just a hole in the fucking wall at that point.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's what that is.
That's a problem that needs a solution. That's what that is.
90% of a window, I'm going to say pretty much all of a window is the glass part or something that otherwise it's either a patched hole in the wall or not. The whole thing of a window is you can see out, but nothing comes in. It's amazing. That's what makes it a fucking window. Outside of that, that's not a window anymore. That is a hole in your wall that you, for some reason, have not covered.
You put
I don't know
there
why.
on purpose and have not done anything to treat it.
Someday we're going to get glass. Someday. I put the panes in just in case. I want everyone to know that it's coming.
I framed it. It's ready.
I'm going to work hard and I'm going to make it happen. Now, she, like I said, is the second child. They didn't have windows. They didn't have milk or fresh vegetables ever. They ate the tobacco probably. I want some. I have vegetables.
On this route.
Here's a vegetable for you. Here's a fried tobacco leaf. I'm going to put it in there. It's going to be very nice. Everyone.
Right. That's hilarious.
Everybody.
That sounds disgusting.
We're going to steam some tobacco leaves, and now we have vegetables.
And then we will drip the tar gravy on it. It'll be delicious.
It's going to be good. Whatever comes out. So they survived on salt pork and flour.
I don't know what that is.
Salt, I assume like a jerky.
That sounds like bacon.
Yeah, I think it's dried out so you don't have to refrigerate it because I doubt they had a refrigerator.
Salt pork, that's ham.
Yeah.
That's a lot of words to say ham.
I feel like that's like ham. You don't have to. That's like what they gave out in the Civil War. Right. Like, here, put that in your pocket and go fight them, and then you can eat that in a hole afterwards while you bleed to death.
It's the trimmings around the meat of the ham. Salt pork.
Salt pork. So salt pork and flour apparently was what they survived on. Which was not great. Their only source of heat was a black coal stove.
James, flowers or flour?
Flour, yeah. They weren't eating flour.
Just eating the powder?
I assume they mixed it together, make some sort of roux slurry, and then put the salt pork in it.
Push that down their throat.
And you have, I picture in the end you have like a pile of like what looks like kind of looks like a pile of mashed potatoes.
That sounds gross.
But with chunks of overcooked salt pork hanging out of it, I feel like salt jerky. This sounds terrible. With no running water, electricity, and going, Dad, when are we going to get them windows I hear so much about?
Are you sure there's not a comma in between salt and pork?
Are
you sure about that?
It is salt pork. By the way, when you're looking out a window that has no glass, do you just tell everyone, oh, there's windows in there, don't worry about it. You can see out, right? Well, that's a window. Sorry.
I dare you to put your hand through there. It will not stop. That is a window.
It's a window. No, it's magic, see? We didn't tell you we're magical? We're magical, honey. Those are windows. Don't worry about that. Age 5, 1942, the family moves to Danville, Virginia, which is not much better of a place, but the work is a little bit better. The father gets construction jobs there, and they're not sharecropping anymore, and they have a little bit more money. They have, like windows and food and things like that. The stuff that's helpful to children.
The necessities.
Windows and food, things like that. Maybe some running water. I don't know, though. That's getting pretty... That's getting fancy.
I suppose a window's not a necessity, but the glass is.
The glass, they had holes. Right. 4 windows. That's the problem.
Then your heat and cool get out.
Yeah. You didn't have heat anyway. You had a black coal stove, and you're eating your salt pork in front of, which is very depressing.
Horrible.
That sounds awful. Speaking of more depressing, I said they moved to Virginia, which is like Danville's like kind of right on the North Carolina border, up to the north of North Carolina. If you didn't know where North Carolina and Virginia were. Now you do. So they're there. They make a little bit more money, but Betty comes down with measles this year, and it's a bad, bad, bad case of measles. This is pre-vaccinations and all that kind of shit. By the way, if you have not got your kids' measles vaccinations, you're an asshole. Moving on.
Or keep them the fuck away from mine. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. I get it. Yeah, either we're going to get emails about that. Right. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Look up what fucking measles does right fucking now, and look up how there's a big spreading, and it's the same time you decide to stop fucking vaccinating your goddamn kids and then wonder why the fuck there's measles when you already beat that shit, you dumb motherfuckers. Jesus Christ.
And I hope you
God damn it.
If you haven't vaccinated kids, just have windows and doors and lock them all, and then always have Amazon deliver your food and never go outside.
And don't say autism and all that shit either, because that does not fucking cause that. And by the way, my kid has fucking autism, and I'm not blaming it on that. And if it did have, and if that is how he got it, it's better than fucking dying of measles. Okay? So fuck, God damn it. Vaccinate your goddamn son of a bitch and kids, little bastards. I don't want them to live. I want all your, I don't care. We need less people. Like I said, over 80, under 5. Gone. I could do that tomorrow and I wouldn't give a shit. But if you have the goddamn kids, take care of them. Take them to the fucking doctor. Jesus.
Would
you not take your car in for an oil change? Because you're like, I heard sometimes when they do that, they forget to put the oil back in it, or they put a lesser grade in, and it's going to make my car worse, so I'll just let it explode. Would you do that? No. You'd go, well, fuck it. You got to do it anyway, so it doesn't have a catastrophic problem.
Right. If they do that, I'll just combat that by changing my oil, I don't know, a month early now.
That's all. And if you tweet me with some horse shit fucking anti-vax bullshit with stats and all that, I am going to light you the fuck up like a Christmas tree. I'm going to spend the next 3 months of my life making your life fucking miserable. Shut up and stay away. If you differ on opinions, that's good. I hope you don't have any goddamn kids because you're going to kill them, you irresponsible fuckheads. So... Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
You irresponsible fuckhead.
This is what happens when you don't have vaccine. I guarantee you, if Betty Lou could have had a vaccination, she would have loved it, because she ended up getting for over a week sore throats, hacking coughs, and a fever that spiked to 105 degrees on and off. Her mother had to take off work to care for her, which they couldn't afford. This affected her so badly. This fever was so high that it hurt her hearing. Yeah. It knocked out like more than half of her hearing.
Well, it burns the cilia off your eardrums, and then you can't hear. My tattoo artist had spinal meningitis when he was a kid. He's now deaf because of it.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It just burns the fucking all the hairs that sense the vibration of sound.
Yeah.
And you're fucked.
You're totally
completely
fucked. And that's what her problem is here. And also just in her brain, she had you can't have a fever that's that high for that long. You will burn your goddamn brain out. And also this ends up because she can't hear very well, and she was only 5 years old, so your speech isn't perfect. You're still learning to speak. So basically this affected her speech in a bad way. Also, she never received hearing aids or any special training on how to deal with her disability because, it was Danville, Virginia in 1942. Right. They were more worried about the Germans and the Japanese and everything else than they were worried about Betty Lou's speech impediment.
Say you can't hear, huh? Good for you.
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't want to know the news that we know.
Nothing but bad things happening anyway, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. You just keep looking pretty and go on with yourself. Here's some salt pork. All right, then moving on. And here's a gun for you. 1945, her brother Jimmy is born. 1947, a sister Jackie is born. So they're still spitting kids out. That's 4 kids so far. It's at this point that her mother suffers the first of several, what is described by a doctor as a, quote, psychotic break with reality.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is when shit gets super interesting.
In what year?
47.
Oh, cool.
So back then, they just chain you up in a room and throw you in there and be like, hopefully she'll stop soon.
She's fucking nuts.
Yeah. If not, I don't know. Just leave her there,
Put her in there. Make sure there's a window so we can watch.
One with a glass in it, a real window.
We would like plexiglass so she can't break it.
She's super confused, like, why can't I put my hand through this hole in the wall? There's a hole. Usually you reach on outside and grab things.
My hand just keeps coming back to me.
It's so weird. It hurts when I hit it. It's like clear but hard. I could see through, but I could feel hardness. I don't understand.
I see you, but I can't touch you.
I can't touch you. So, she's working at the mill, the mother, when this happens, and they have to summon an ambulance to the mill to take her to the hospital because she had a fucking freak out at the mill. She remained there for a week in the hospital. She comes home not in great shape after spending a week in a 1947 mental health unit, which was, like I said, chained up and thrown in a room going, "You all right now? How you feeling?"
What behavior in 1947 is deemed as a psychotic break with reality?
I believe a man held the door open for her and she didn't say thank you, I believe, was what it was. And they said, "Oh, this woman is crazy.
She is clearly out of her
Her boss
mind."
grabbed her ass and she went, "What'd you do there?" And they went, "This woman's crazy. We need to lock her up. She is just, I touched her ass. I did it gently. I didn't hit it hard, and she had a problem. I think we should put her away
There
now."
are no marks on her ass.
Come on now. I think it's this. She realizes she's in Virginia, right? And that's how this works. So this poor woman, she gets home. The doctor gives her medication and would come by frequently to check on her. And house calls to be like, "Is your mom still crazy, or how's this going here?" She suffered hallucinations, the mother, and strange voices playing in her head.
There you go.
That's not great. She also became hysterical. She would push her hands out to keep the demons away that no one else can see but her.
Wow.
So basically, this woman is being raised like Ike Ibiabuchi and his crazy mother. Like,
fuck.
So, it's a crime and sports reference there. President of the world, like Ike Ibiabuchi. Very funny, by the way. You should check that out. It doesn't matter if you like boxing or sports or anything. It's a story of a crazy person.
Lunacy.
Doing crazy things. A giant, dangerous, crazy person that
in a desert that is afraid of air conditioning. Go listen.
And we'll put it this: at one point, he's sitting at a table with an executive from HBO and wields a steak knife at him. So this is the type of person we're dealing with. During a business meeting, this man decides a steak knife is the way to go. So this family had it a little bit different. She's warding off unseen demons. So that's I would call that a psychotic break with reality.
That'll do it.
When the unseen demons are in play. Age 12 now for Betty Lou. She has a lot of problems in school because her speech is not that great.
Sure.
She's considered very pretty, but they also make fun of her because her speech is not that great and she can't hear a lot. So they'll say things and she'll go, "What?" and then they'll laugh at her and shit
kids
like that.
Are dicks.
Kids are complete dicks. I feel like kids in Texas are probably
bigger dicks.
Bigger dicks.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
They're like, they didn't make the football team. That's for ridicule.
Right.
But if you're like, having problems and your mother's in the psychiatric ward, all the people knew about that too. The kids knew about her mom.
Fuck.
Her mom, who had seizures too, they would jump on the ground when she was walking by and fake a seizure and go, "Who am I, Betty? Who am I?" to make fun of her poor mother, which is fucking horrible. Really, really horrible. She felt crazy and stupid, she said, about at school. She wasn't getting an education. She was just trying to get through it, and she couldn't hear the teacher half the time. She didn't have a hearing aid too, so unless she really paid attention, she couldn't hear what was going on. But she did hear people making fun of her constantly, which sounds horrible.
Man.
That's brutal. Like, that's a tough way to come up here. She, at this point, spends less time in school and more time taking care of her younger brothers and sisters at home. Because every time her mother would have an issue and couldn't go to work, she's like, "I'm good. I don't need to go to school. No, I'll take care of the kids."
Love it.
Love it, because she didn't want to be there anyway. Her mother ends up being placed in mental institutions on and off through this time, 1949, 1950. It's weird because, she was considered attractive but got made fun of a lot, which is a very weird thing in school. I've never seen that before, I don't think, an attractive girl being made fun of.
No, it's very rare.
Or a girl, it can be an attractive girl, but a girl that's considered attractive by the class, like that has like whatever attributes they're looking for in Texas in 1949.
But, I mean, sometimes the girl's made fun of because a guy likes her.
That's
but
true,
it's not
too.
universal, like everybody's picking on her.
Or like people will start a rumor about her. That happens a lot. Never mind.
She's a slut
I haven't
or
been in
whatever.
high school in
So
too long to
fucked up.
remember that. But girls are horrible to each other when it comes to that. Guys, it's a different thing.
Right.
Guys, it's like, I saw him jerking off in the woods, and like everybody will make fun of him for that. But
I saw him pick his nose on the bus, and he ate it.
He ate it right
Gross.
there. And then if the guy's like, "It was fucking delicious," everybody will laugh, and then the guy's you know what I mean? So it's like,
and then he's the hero.
It's a different thing. Yeah, like if Betty Lou jumped on the floor and was like, "Yeah, my mom's a fucking look at these seizure. I'd do it better." They would have been like, "She's fucking nuts."
Right.
But if a guy
Somebody
did that,
lock
they'd
her
be like, "That's hilarious." So that's a tough double standard for women. You can't just. It's a different thing. It's a different vibe. A guy, you're just like, "Oh my god," and then they become Chris Farley. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Then they're just all of a sudden a fucking hero and the star.
It's a fat guy that'll fall on the ground. Isn't that great? So
I saw him jerking off in the woods, and then he just drops his pants, starts doing it. They're like, "This guy's great."
I need a bad look at him. Oh, Willie's jerking it again. I love it.
He's a new quarterback.
Oh,
Todd, your bench.
You're second string now, Todd. Todd, I know you're undefeated this season, but you should have seen him whacking his wang out in the woods there. It
Where's
was beautiful.
your dick, Todd?
Todd, let's see you whack. You don't want to whack it? See, we need a guy who's willing to do this for the team. We need a guy who's willing to do this for the team. Freshman coming in. Todd ain't even willing to stick nothing up their butts now. When you join the team, we're going to stick something up your ass. That's just how it goes.
Willie said he'll use his own dick.
He'll use his own dick. He'll use a beer bottle. He's got a broom, so he don't care. Whatever's around, lying
He
around.
prefers to use his own dick.
That's Texas. That's what I'm going to say. Now, that's Texas. Yeehaw. Pew, pew.
Willie is straight Texas.
Straight Texas. He's got 2 double-cross pistols tattooed on his stomach. So, man, Texas. Sorry, Texas. By the way, in the fall, we're looking to come to Dallas or Houston or somewhere like that, and you can get us back then.
Yeah.
Please, not with your guns, though. So, 19...
You can get James really fucking high.
You can do whatever at that point. I'm happy.
As a punishment for this.
That's what you can do as a punishment, and order in Drake's Cakes and Devil Dogs from the Northeast. By the way, thank you for all the Devil Dogs, everybody.
Holy shit, is there a lot of Devil
eating
Dogs?
The shit. You have no idea how many Devil Dogs.
We have more Devil Dogs than we have dollars.
It's true. It's true. On the road, I survived on Devil Dogs. Like, we get back to the room,
Every
nothing's
show,
open.
yeah.
I would eat like 6 Devil Dogs at night while I'd work on the next show. Like, I was hopped up and like full of chocolate. It was terrible for me, but I swear to God.
We have cases upon cases.
I developed diabetes, but you know what? We got through the month.
I'm going to help you combat that with the salt from these Utz chips.
Yeah, thank you for the Utz chips, too. We were running out of crab chips, so thank you.
We have a ton.
Now we're good.
Right.
1951, her mother has a huge psychotic episode. At this point, ends up back in the institution for a while. This means Betty has to watch the kids full time.
Got it.
So whenever the mother is out of commission, it's Betty's the oldest daughter. So Betty is going to watch the kids.
She's 17 now?
That's the way it goes. Yeah, she's 15 now. 15. She's born in 37. We're in 1952. She wanted to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Because that's no 15-year-old girl's dream is I want to stay and take care of my crazy mother and 2 younger siblings. Right. You want to get out. You want to do things. Not like she could like watch, she can't watch TV as an escape. She's not on social media. Right. She's not like in 1981, like bopping along to MTV or some shit. Like, she's got nothing to do. She's in rural Virginia in the early 50s. Right. But then she gets a break, a lifeline. This is not a lifeline. And if you're a young girl, if you're a girl that's like not out of college, this is not a lifeline. Right. This is not the thing to do.
This is not positive.
This is not positive. She meets an 18-year-old boy at this point named Robert Franklin Branson. Okay. Branson is basically he's a quiet guy who works at the zipper factory.
Okay.
So this isn't like an up-and-coming superstar here. He's not, going to be. He's going to be governor of Texas someday. He works the fucking zipper factory in Virginia here.
Is he like the tester that makes sure they go all the way up?
He's like zip.
Or is he putting teeth on?
Nope. It's caught. It's got a thread that keep. Nope. It ain't going to work. Yeah, that's that guy. He is.
These aren't lining up right. So do it again.
Inspector number 28. Right. He was actually. It's very impressive. If you've had a pair of jeans in the last 50 years, this guy he made sure they were right.
He found it.
They haven't zipped your dick off. It's this guy. This guy's got to do the good work.
And if you have zipped your dick off, you probably sued him.
You blame him. When Something About Mary came out, he's like, finally, I'm getting my due. They said his prospects seemed limited because, he works at the zipper factory, and that's pretty much all the ambition he has. But Betty Lou didn't give a shit.
She loved him.
She wanted the fuck out of the house. Yeah. And he was like, well, he's got a job enough to have a place. Yeah. So that's not in this house. Right. I don't have to watch my brothers and sisters. Plus, she hadn't, this is weird, she hadn't had her first period yet. At 15, because they said the girls used to have them later back then anyway. They'd get it later than they do now due to whatever factor. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But they get them later then. But she had, because of the high fever when she was a kid, it fucked up some of her organs and fucked up her system a little bit. And the doctors later on would say that's probably why she had a late period. But her mother thought she was pregnant. Well, you must be pregnant. And Betty said, I've never had sex. And she's like, oh, that doesn't matter. You're still pregnant. Jesus Christ. Because there was no sex education in 1951. Because if kids knew about sex and the existence of it, then they'd do it. Because otherwise, they didn't realize they had dicks. Right. They were just like, oh, is that what that's for? Oh, man. Holy shit. Woo. I've been using it to keep my place in magazines, but now I understand what it's for. All right, that's much better. I've been using it to stir the lemonade, but now I get it.
Right.
Like, they know about it.
Right.
Tell them how not to do this. So the mother didn't even know better, and the mother said, that doesn't matter, though. If you haven't had your period, you're probably still pregnant.
That's so weird.
You stand next to a boy who works at a
boy.
zipper factory, that'll get you pregnant.
Have you heard how big black dicks are? It could have got you.
It could have got you. It could have got you. He ain't black. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He works the zipper factory, meaning he knows about penises.
He knows how they go up and down.
And down. That was not lost on me. So her mother ends up encouraging her to get married rather than, go to school or anything like that.
Yeah,
She's like,
'cause
but you're pregnant, though. You need to get married.
Mom's about to get a raise if she gets out of the house.
Yeah,
Right.
so this would have been right after she finished the 9th grade, by the way.
My God.
So in the summer, July 18th, 1952, summer after 9th grade, she's getting married, which, wow. Anybody ever make a good decision the summer after 9th grade?
I think I have like 5 memories from 9th grade.
Imagine if one of them was, I'm going to get married now and actually legally commit myself to another human being.
Imagine if one of them was getting pelted with rice after leaving a church.
Oh,
That's
my
so
God.
fucked up.
No fucking way.
No.
1953, a year later, a little over a year, it's like 13 months later, so she was not pregnant when they got married.
Clearly.
They end up, she got pregnant pretty damn quick,
You
though.
bet.
They have their first child,
She is 17.
a daughter named Faye. She is 16 right now.
Oh, my God.
Just turned 16, and she's got a daughter named Faye. She's not happy with her life, though.
I'm sure.
She's not. She doesn't. She got out of the house, wanted to get away from her parents, but now she's got a baby.
Yeah.
So she said she told her husband at one point, "I'm no better off now than when I had to cook and clean for my parents, and having this baby is just like being saddled with my brother and sister," which sounds super immature, because she's a fucking sophomore.
Like
so
a
that
child.
happens. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I wanted to skip science class when I was 15 because I was like, this is boring.
Right.
I wasn't like, I got to take care of this baby though. Like
Right.
that was fucking different. So. I get it. That sounds just like a 15-year-old kid. That's why you don't
You're
have
either
kids when you're fucking 15.
Scraping a pipe for resin
Yeah,
or
that's it.
raising a child. I'm going with the former. The former's the one I want.
It's probably right about your skill level at that
Right.
point of what you should be doing, not shaping young lives.
Right.
So we'll find out. She is a mother, and she's a lot of mothers. We'll find out here. Also, this is before they have the baby. They were already, the couple, her and Robert, were already separated and got back together. Okay. They got separated after 6 months, and then she found out she was pregnant, and they got back together again.
Got it.
Basically here. This whole thing with the baby and she has some postpartum depression, I would assume, which back then they called that cheer up, bitch. They didn't even have, I feel like that was the official medical term for it back then. Quit being grumpy. I want my dinner by 6. I think that's what it was called back then, rather than, I don't know, maybe she's having hormonal and, chemical issues that maybe we can help her with, and she needs, balance with the hormones and all that shit.
It's called a bundle of joy for a reason.
Dummy.
Be happy.
Yeah, be
Shut
happy,
the
dummy.
fuck up.
I feel like that's what it was called. Shut the fuck up disease. Shut the fuck up, woman. That's what it was called back then, postpartum. Luckily now we know a little bit more about it, and we realize that when a human being comes out of your body, sort of a traumatic experience that you might need some time to recover from, and everyone needs to maybe have a little bit of patience with you.
Either that or everybody drowns. So
One of the
figure it
two.
the fuck out.
Yeah, that's the truth. Back then, luckily, they didn't live in Gun Barrel City yet, so they didn't have the lake. Otherwise, this could be a completely different story about a mother. But at this point, she is so distraught that she ends up trying to commit suicide by swallowing. Shut up, bitch, is the official medical term for it. Sorry.
Cheer up, bitch. That's what you said. Cheer up.
I don't know.
Oh, fuck
We do not
my
condone
life.
that
No.
behavior. We're laughing at how ridiculous that is. If that's what they would say
Because
back then.
it was said.
Yeah, just
you know
that's
somebody
why.
said that.
Yeah, we're like, wow.
Chin
And now-
up, bitch.
It's so silly to think about now that
Right.
that's what people would act, because now like I said, we don't act like that
Right.
anymore. But
Well,
wow.
it takes a woman slaughtering everybody for people to take the shit serious. That's what's so fucked up. Is that,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Well, it just hadn't happened in that town yet, maybe. Yeah.
Right.
Or
They
if it
hadn't
did,
gotten
they're-
the news
Yeah.
yet.
Or if it did, the mom could say something else happened, and back
Right.
then they'd be like, oh, that's a tragedy.
Right.
Whereas now they'd be like,
You
I don't
were
know.
baptizing all 8 of them?
How many black guys were holding you at gunpoint?
Have you ever seen a
No, I don't think
baptism?
so.
You dunk and lift up.
It's
That's how it goes.
very quick.
Right.
It's very quick.
How come you didn't learn after number 2 that you have to let them up?
You barely cover the face, really.
Right.
It's just kind of just a symbolic thing.
I thought they had to breathe it all in to really be cleansed.
Breathe in that Lord. What? Bubble, bubble. I said breathe in Jesus. Take him in.
Suck him in.
Take him into your lungs. It's the only way. It's the only way it works.
We're cleansing you from the inside.
From the inside. So, my God, we never got so much laughter
out of a woman
of child abuse
child.
and postpartum depression and a mother's mental issues and mental issues in an institution. Wow. So, Jesus. So this suicide attempt lands Betty in the hospital,
Jesus.
And it's at this point she's like 16 years old with a kid and everything else. So her parents are like, well, we're not fucking taking care of the situation. Yeah. They call the husband back because the husband had left her.
Zipper Factory.
And they called Zipper Factory back, and they went, she tried to kill herself. Right. You might want to come here. So he actually comes back.
Come get your kid.
Come get your kid and your woman.
Right.
You married her. She ain't mine no more. She's your problem now.
She's going to be fine. We told her, cheer up, bitch.
The doctor, here's the prescription now. He wrote it down. It's hard to tell with that doctor handwriting, but I believe if I'll take it to the pharmacy when we're done. It is 24 tablets of cheer up, bitch. It says take every morning with food. Now, remember to take it with food. You don't want to have an upset stomach. It's going to upset your stomach.
All the cheer will make you want to vomit.
It's going to make you poop weird otherwise, so you're going to want to do that.
Holy shit, that's horrible.
I think I held up my hand like it's on a prescription for you. Like it matters. No one can see us.
24 50-milligram tablets
of cheer up, bitch. All right, then. Wonderful. We did it.
It's the bitch that makes it great.
Because it's ridiculous.
It really is great.
It's the most ridiculous thing that can be said ever.
All right.
From a medical professional, especially. So anyway, he ends up taking care of her. He stays by her bedside till she recovers, and from that they reconcile. Because I don't know, they're probably the only two people each of them fucking know.
Yeah.
So why not? It's a small town there. So she describes her marriage to Robert after this as abusive, though. The kids are kind of 50-50 on that, whether he's abusive or not. They don't really say he was outwardly abusive. Yeah. He wasn't abusive to them. I mean, more than a Southern father in the fucking 50s was. Right. I'm sure beatings were probably a normal thing, but not, I guess, not out of the norm abusive for back then. Sure. Like he ain't beating me more than my friend's dad. So
he does stick to the rule of thumb, which I find nice.
That's nice. Now I feel that's a good thing, and he has never stuck anything in my butt. Right. So I'm going to say that's a plus. I find that thoughtful. So he's a nice man. So they get back together. She's abusive, but that does not stop them from being together for the next 15 years. And we'll talk about a couple of things. 54, they have a second child named Connie, because you got problems. You want to bring as many children into those problems as possible. Sure. They always make it better.
She's following the cheer up bitch.
She's like, well, I guess I'll have cheering up.
We need to fuck to make more cheer.
They say I'll be happier every time I have baby. I was depressed last time, but they say it'll get better now if I, quote, cheer up bitch. So Connie comes along. It's at this point that Robert finds that he can make more money. He finds out through a friend that there's construction work in Texas that pays a lot more money than what he's making now. Which makes sense. So, labor. Hey, it's you want to make money, and you're in a place that's economically depressed. You pack up your damn family and you go there, and that's what you had to do. Yeah. And people still have to do that now. So he packed up. Everybody goes. They take their kids and they go to Mesquite, Texas, which is southeast of Dallas. It's a small town. It's called Mesquite. It's obviously not a booming metropolis. They move there. By the way, she is now 17 years old, has 2 kids, a suicide attempt, She's moved around for construction work. She has the life experience of a weathered truck stop waitress.
Truly.
With like pineapple earrings that dangle down and shit. That calls you hun.
Right.
Like that's her now. At
Smacks
17.
her gum and is taking no shit.
No shit whatsoever. And you're like, is her hair blonde or gray? I can't tell. It's a little of both. I don't know what her style is. That's what she's got going on here.
That goes, you wanted cheese on that. I'm sorry. Fucking eat it.
Just ate it.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm sorry. Listen, if I take that back, do you know what he's going to do to that? Just fucking eat it and shut your
it's
fucking
going to be
mouth.
terrible. Trust me, you don't.
Then
you do
don't
not want
tip
that.
me. I don't care.
He didn't realize, by the way, he didn't get sex education, so he thinks his penis is for a completely different purpose. And don't drink the lemonade either. I wouldn't have any of that, as we talked about.
He will finger fuck your burger.
Oh, he will with his penis, which is not really finger fucking it, but it sounds more polite. So, 1959, they have a third child named Shirley. 1962, they have a fourth child named Phyllis.
Oh, boy.
They're fucking loading up.
Yeah.
4 kids. 4 goddamn kids, and she is like 24 years old with 4 kids. 1964, let's tack another one on.
No.
Another one. A 5th child named Robert Franklin Branson Jr.
You bet.
We know is trouble right there. So they finally got a boy, and he's like, it's a junior, Dad. I've been waiting.
That one's mine.
I called him Phyllis and Shirley and whatever other bullshit you want to call them damn girls, but this one's mine. He's one that could do something. Look at his dick. It's beautiful. So back then, they call him Robbie. Robert Frank. So that's fine. That's a nickname for Robert. That's good. 1966, though, they have a 6th child. Yeah. You know what they call him?
Oh, boy.
Bobby.
No.
They named him fucking Bobby.
He is so proud of himself.
But you... Fucking hillbillies.
You don't get to do that.
That's
people.
not how names work.
No.
You can call your kid Bobby. That's fine. Right. You can even name your kid, but you got named Jimmy instead of it. Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah. But you can't do that if the other kid's name is fucking Robert and you call him Robbie. Right. They're the same name. You named him the same fucking thing.
You can't name me Jimmy and then have another son and name him Timmy. You don't get to do that. That's way too close.
But that would be like calling him Jim.
That's a good
Jim
point.
And Jimmy.
Yeah,
no, they're both the same fucking name.
Right.
It's
This is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
That's what it is.
Stop it.
This. I'm James. I go by Jimmy. This is my brother Jim. Huh? No, it's not how it works.
Yeah,
that's
and
exactly
the green room
what happened
in New
here.
York was so confusing.
Very, very. Yes, it really was. That was an absolutely confusing green room. My dad came to visit. And,
right. That's Jim, and then there's me, Jimmy, and then James.
Yeah, it was very, very. And then my dad. My family calls me Jimmy, so they're all calling me Jimmy, and then you're turning around, and it's very fucking confusing. It was a mess.
What a great time, though.
We had a great time. Yeah, thanks. It was nice to see my dad and my little brother Eric for coming out, and his wife Tanya. Thanks, guys, for coming and supporting us all. So they have Robbie and Bobby. So now they have the Brady Bunch. There's 6 kids, the youngest one named Bobby. Perfect. I hope he was a little redheaded kid that was less attractive than the others, too. It's just so he knows. She could use an Alice at this point because she's 29 and has 6 kids.
Oh,
I don't think Mrs. Brady had to deal with that shit.
Sweet Jesus.
That is nuts, man. She's still pretty at this point, too, though. She keeps like herself in shape and all that sort of thing. That's a big deal for her. Not that it matters in the scheme of things, but to her, it matters a great deal. Keeping herself in shape, making sure her hair stays bleached blonde, getting regular perms. Basically, she does her hair like Dolly Parton.
Great.
Like she's got to have a big...
Fuck yeah.
She's in Texas in the 60s. She's got to have a big permed up blonde platinum do. That's just the way it was. Otherwise, in Texas, I don't even think you were allowed to go outside if you were a woman and didn't have that at that point.
Who do you think you are? Go home.
They'd write her a prescription for look better, bitch. That's what they'd write her a prescription for at that point. Excuse me. Police would stop you in the street, write you a ticket. Not blonde enough. There you go, sweetheart. Push them tits out further. This is the 60s in Texas.
See you at the courthouse in 2 weeks. Wear something cute.
Wear something cute. By the way, praise Jesus. All right, then. Moving on. So, she would go to local bars at this point. She would take care of the kids all day. Her husband would get home, and she would wait till he was like asleep, and she'd go out to the bars. Or when he worked kind of a second shift, he'd get home at like 3 a.m. She would do that also. She'd go out while he was gone, and then be home before he got home from work. And later on, it's the kids say everything was great. Mom would be like all done up and dressed up. So when Dad got home from work, she would look nice for him. It's like, or she just got home from the bar. That's why she looked nice too. So the kids thought it was a nice thing. At this point, she would also recruit her oldest daughters to not only babysit the sons while she was out, babysit the younger kids, but also to cover for her in case the husband called.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, she's already pulling her kids into lying to people, and this is so tip of the iceberg. Wait till you see what this balloons into, the terrible things that her kids do on her behalf.
Already,
because
it's like a Garth Brooks song.
It gets so much fucking worse, so much worse. She would go out to the Silver Slipper Saloon in Dallas, which I found a picture of, and looks like a place where you could collect, 3 gallons of plasma off the floor at the end of the night after all of the fucking people cut each other with beer bottles. It looks like the Double Deuce from Roadhouse, basically, is what it fucking looks like. I could just picture like the chain link fence up where some blind guy's playing guitar, beer bottles exploding on it left and right. So
people eating those poop nuts on the bar.
Oh, poop! I got poop nuts.
And the shells all over the floor.
All over. So her husband here at this point warned her because the kids were even upset because like the house wasn't clean anymore. Oh, boy. And they didn't have the same dinner. She'd be like, "Hey, here's some frozen stuff. Warm it up," rather than like making dinner, and the kids weren't used to that. And so the kids were upset with her. Her husband was upset with her. Her husband said, "Betty, I'm not going to put up with this." He said, quote, "I always thought you were a good wife, and I know the kids love you, but I can't handle how you're acting while I'm out trying to support our family." Which is fair enough, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you don't want somebody out cheating on you while you're at work, obviously. They could have worked something out, or she could go out once in a while, or whatever the fucking deal is. They have 6 fucking kids. When you have 6 kids, your options for fun are kind of limited at that point. You have pigeonholed yourself. Not saying you're not allowed to go out and have fun, but holy shit, you have also 6 goddamn kids to figure out and take care of. It's difficult.
You get 6 of their friends to let them stay the night, because you're not sending all 6 of them to one friend's house.
Not even to a grandparent's house.
Right, no.
You're like, I know I gave birth to you, and I love my grandkids, but 2 at a time, tops. Or
already before you go out, you're out $200 for the babysitter.
You're totally screwed.
Because you've got to pay $20-$30 an hour.
And that's the problem. That's absolutely. It's going to be expensive, and he doesn't go out much either, this guy, because he works a lot. He works extra. Finally, after all of this, in 1969, he demands a divorce, says it's over this time. He literally told her, "I'm not old and ugly yet, basically. I can still find another wife, so while I can, have a good one. I'm going to fucking go find one, somebody who's nice to me," I guess, is what he told her.
Attaboy.
Most of the time, they said that this is when things changed. This is for the kids. They said there was no more big family Christmases or Thanksgivings or Easter egg hunts. They have one in town. Things to do. Maybe that's why. No more. The center of the family was the paternal grandparents, was Robert's parents' house. So once they left, once Robert and her got divorced, she wouldn't take them over there anymore.
No more patriarch.
So no more big family gatherings, no more picnics, no more trips to the zoo. They said all of these different things. Also, this completely devastated Betty Lou in terms of finances. She had no money at this point. She got $250 a month child support for 6 kids.
Holy shit.
For 6 kids.
He made out like a bandit.
And that's child support and alimony and everything else. He's paying that much for 6 kids, and she says that he was even spotty paying that.
Wow.
He denies that, and there's whatever. He says he always paid her. And at some point, it's raised to like $300 a month or something, but still not really enough to take care of 6 kids. Yeah, 6. That's $50 a kid. That's
crazy.
Not enough for that. Kids are expensive. Even in 1969, kids were more expensive than that.
Or it's $2.95 a kid, and then $1 more per child.
That's and then $1 more per. That's fine. That's it. That one kid, take care of him good.
Right.
But the rest of them, nah, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Salt, pork, and flour. It is. Eat up, bitch. That's the name of dinner tonight.
The hit true crime series, Murder Made Me Famous, is now on Podcast One, showcasing some of the most notorious crimes imaginable, including Scott Peterson, Jodi Arias, Ted Bundy, and more. See how murder made them famous. New episodes starting every Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, as well as PodcastOne.com and the Podcast One app. And check out the new season of Murder Made Me Famous, starting Saturday, April 14th on the Reels channel.
At this point, Betty Lou does not like to be single. She starts to drink more and more and go out to bars more and more and hang out, and she's lonely and looking for somebody.
Yeah.
And she even said at this point it was like, I'm 30 years old. I'm over 30 years old. I have all these goddamn kids.
Yeah.
I got to find somebody, and I better go out every night to find someone because it's just slim pickings at this point for someone who's over 30 and has 6 kids. That wasn't considered super desirable in Texas in the late 60s.
I don't know that it's super desirable in 2018.
It's tough. Yeah, if someone's got 6 kids, you're like,
that's hard.
No, that's fine. No, that's good. I bet that's
I make
great.
$60,000.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's
every time you leave a room, you shut the light off.
Yeah,
every time.
You have to really, really be in love with someone to be like, I'll take all 6 of your kids. Like, that's a lot. So it's at this point that Faye can't take it anymore. Her daughter Faye is tired of this. She's 15 years old. Guess what she does? Gets married and moves the fuck out. Follows right in mom's footsteps, and it's the exact same reason. Because she's having to take care of her brothers and sisters at home. Exactly what Betty happened to Betty.
Had enough of it.
She said, I found me a guy from the zipper factory. Have a good one.
I'm out.
She takes off here. So Betty at this point, she can't take care of all the kids on her own.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to go out at night. She sends her 10-year-old Phyllis and 8-year-old Robbie to live with their father and his new wife.
Okay.
So at this point, at home, the only one she has left is little Bobby.
Okay.
Not Robbie, Bobby.
Right.
Last kid.
All right, the
sixth
youngest
one. Everyone else either lives with the father or is married off now.
Okay.
So they're all out of the house.
How the fuck did she work that magic?
I have no idea. She said, "You're taking them,
right.
or I'm leaving them outside."
That's what it is.
And they were like, "She's got issues. She will leave them outside." So
She'll do it.
We should probably go pick the kids up. I think the husband was like, "Yeah, I think we're picking them up. Yeah, she'll leave. Who the hell knows where she'll leave them? I don't know.
There's no more cheer for her
in the lake. This is bad. I don't know. Let's go find them." So 1970, she meets Billy York Lane is his name. He's a house painter.
All right.
So that's fine.
Hard-working fella.
Yeah. He's a house painter. They are married on July 28th, 1970. She likes these July weddings.
She does.
July 28th, 1970, she marries him. October 28th, 1970, she gets a restraining order against him.
Wow.
So that was fast.
4 months.
It's a short fucking honeymoon on the lake right there. Wow. He was abusive also, she said, physically and mentally and everything else. The two end up getting divorced here in late 1970, but don't worry, they will not avoid each other. There's more.
Jesus.
This divorce does not end the relationship. It's at this point she starts getting very worried about her looks and starts taking a lot of Dexatrim.
Okay.
Dexatrim in the 1950s, 1960s, shit like that, they would advertise it on TV where they would show a woman around her house cleaning everything and having all this energy and preparing dinner and then still having the energy to look her best when her husband walks through the door and dinner's on the table and everything's clean. And he's like, I don't know how you do it, dear, and look so beautiful. And she holds up a box and she goes, because I'm on meth. Right. That's how I do it. It's amazing, isn't it? I stay thin and clean everything because I'm on fucking meth. Right. And that's what this was. It was just speed. Dexatrim. It was a weight loss thing, what they would say, and it gives you pep because it's speed.
A hilarious commercial when she goes, because I'm on meth, and when she says it and puts her to pronounce the T and the H, all 4 of her front teeth just spout out of her face.
There are side effects, but still, look how thin I am.
Side effects may vary.
The prescription for this meth said, get faster, bitch.
Right.
It said, thin out, bitch. So, yeah, she's there taking a lot of speed. After the divorce, they keep fighting because he's an asshole and she's on meth. So you get those two people, an abusive dickhead and a meth addict. They're really going to go at it and not stop for a while. June of 1971, they're still talking to each other for some reason, and Billy broke her nose and threatened to kill her at this point.
Shit.
So
it has really gotten out of control.
Shit's gotten real, which is rough. Some nights she would drive home from work and notice a car with its lights out sitting half a block from her apartment. She said from the silhouette she knew it was him. Other nights she would look in her rearview mirror to see him following. She said.
Oh, you mean he was stalking her?
You know, like stalking. Yeah, like that sort of thing. Which in Texas was considered romantic in the 1970s. Oh, he's just a romantic. That's all it is. You need to talk to him. That'll fix it.
Following you is a Texas bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's a Texas bouquet. So
that's a Texas corsage.
Texas corsage.
Jesus Christ.
After he broke her nose, she said to the doctor, I don't know what's wrong with me. I get so depressed because I can't pull myself away from this man, and he keeps hitting me. What do I do?
Yeah.
And the doctor, rather than getting her help or telling her, you should leave him or calling the authorities or trying to fix her, trying to help her situation in some way, he goes, you can take these fucking pills so you won't be so depressed anymore.
Right.
Here. He'll still, no, it won't keep him from hitting you, but you'll be less sad about it. So that was his suggestion, which
It'll
is...
stop the crying.
It'll stop your crying. Oh, it'll still hurt, but you'll cry less, so it's better, for him.
It's just a constant cheer up, bitch.
It's all it is. That's what the experience of being a woman was like before, a year and a half ago. It was just cheer up, bitch. That's
Till
how you
Cosby got
up.
arrested.
Yeah. And even now, it's like, so what, bitch? That's kind of how the attitude people have toward him now.
Yeah.
Literally. So he showed you his dick. So what? It's like, well,
must
I don't
be
wanna see his
nice to
dick.
be desired.
Yeah, maybe you don't want to see his dick. Like, why is that? And I feel like, in 30 years, we'll look at that as just as ridiculous. Right. But now it's, back then it was, cheer up, bitch. I don't know.
Stop your crying.
Quit your crying. Ridiculous. At this point, a few months later, she has to go to the emergency room again after he punched her in the left eye twice and not only gave her a black eye, but opened up a big cut over her eye that required several stitches to close. Now, the reason also she keeps coming back to these abusive people, like we said, she had an abusive childhood and all that sort of thing, which kind of, like we said, it cycles out. Yeah. She left at 15, then she goes through, does the same thing, then her daughter leaves at 15, and it's tough to break these cycles here. January 17th, 1972, Billy threatens to kill Betty Lou, which is amazing. This is, they're in a bar, and she danced with they would go to the same, this is what I mean, they fuck with each other. They're one of these couples that you just need to take one and drag them to one end of the country and take one and drag them to the other end of the country and go, no, you two stay the fuck away from each other. But
it can't be like New York and L.A.
No.
That's too... You got to take
Florida,
one to Alaska.
And Alaska. That's it. Stay the fuck... And alert the border authorities. Stay where you are. Stop it.
Amazing.
Both of you. Because what they would do is they would go to bars together, together, separately. I mean, they'd go to the same bar knowing the other one would be there to intentionally flirt and dance with other people in front of that person and make eye contact with them like they're at a junior prom or some shit. So they would do that to fuck with each other and get under each other's skin. Right. And basically the first person to make the other one stomp out mad and leave, they win that night, I guess. So that's how they did it. At one point, she was dancing with a man that he didn't like, that he had already told her, fucking dance with people. Don't dance with that son of a bitch. She was dancing with him and was all over him and kind of acting like, she was getting into it. So he went over and told her that she better go home or he's going to kill her. Okay. And she said in return, you sorry son of a bitch. And she ran out of the place. And that is not a lie. Her favorite thing to call people is you sorry son of a bitch. That's it. You sorry son of a bitch. Yeah. That's the one. So that ended up happening here. We have about 1:45 that evening at night, the bar closed and they left. And then 1:45 a.m., the Dallas County Sheriff's Department answers an emergency call from Betty Lou's apartment. Yes, they arrive and they find a man, her husband, lying unconscious in a pool of his own blood outside of the apartment's rear door.
Betcha.
Yes, he's not dead, but he's shot up covered in blood. Yeah. He'd been shot and fallen from a concrete stoop and fell down 3 steps.
And the thunder rolls, babe.
And exactly. Exactly. So the sheriff's deputies walk in and they go to Betty Lou with the handcuffs out. They go, okay, who's he and what happened? Are we arresting you or not, basically? Because in Texas, that can be considered good party fun also down there. If there was no beef, they're like, well, sometimes people get shot. I don't know. We got all these guns. Pew, pew. You know what I'm saying? So she said, that's Bill Lane. He flew into a jealous rage, and then she gives her version of what happened. She said she was headed toward the ladies' room, and Billy grabbed my arm as I passed him. He said, you go home and stay away from him, or you're going to be sorry. And I said something like, what the hell are you going to do about it? He said, just remember, I know where the fuck you live. And he said, if he couldn't have me, nobody could. And they said, has he ever threatened you before? And she said, yes, with a gun one time. So she said, when he got that look in his eye and started talking that way, I knew enough to take take him seriously, that's when I called him a sorry son of a bitch and I left the club. That's what she said to the cops.
And the lightning flashed in her eyes, and he
right.
knows that she knows.
Yep. Her daughter Connie is there.
Right.
And she's telling the officer what happens while kind of telling Connie, this is our story.
Right.
As it's going on. She said that Connie was living with her for a while. She said that Connie said Betty Lou said that Connie told her that Bill had been calling and being a real pest and that sort of thing. So she said he called again after I got home, and he said he was going to come kill me. She said, I begged him not to, but he was adamant, which most of the time when someone wants to kill you, you're like, please don't. And most of the time they feel strongly about it.
But he was adamant.
He was adamant. He felt very strongly about killing me. I don't know. It was very strange.
I felt it.
I felt he really had a strong desire to murder me. So I was like, okay.
Don't you dare come by here.
Don't you? And he said, no, I'm going to. No, I'm really.
No. I said don't.
No, I wrote it down already. I have a little list of things that I do. It's already on my list.
But I'm telling you, I don't want you here.
But I said 1:45 a.m. kill Betty Lou.
And be adamant.
I'm pretty adamant about it. Once I write it down, I'm adamant at that point. I have a schedule, and I keep it.
I put a period. I will be there.
I put a period on the end of it. So she said, I guess I got hysterical, which makes sense. She said I told him that she told her daughter that Bill was coming over. She said not to answer the door. She ran into her bedroom. She got her .22 pistol, which she says I always keep loaded, course, which is the law in Gun Barrel City, Texas. The cops got the gun from her. She had it back in her nightstand, so they wrapped it with a handkerchief and took it out like old school police style. For
sure.
She said, so I pulled out the gun and I laid it on the bar by the door. 10 minutes later, I heard a knocking at my back door. She said, that's when I screamed for Connie to call the police. At the same time, he was yelling, open the door or I'll break it down. So they asked her, well, why the fuck did you open the door? And she said, quote, I was afraid he'd turn it into kindling. So she's afraid he'll knock it down. She said she opened it because, she doesn't want to break a door. Death is one thing, but the door, my security deposit, I put down first and last here. You know what I mean? What are we talking about? Come on, Bill. She said she was so scared. She remembers yelling, leave me alone, you son bitch, and get the hell out of my life, which is a great thing to say. It must have felt good. He said, I'll never leave you alone. And then he backed me up against the bar, she said. And she said that's when he got crazy. He said he saw me with other men. And she said, that's when I reached behind my back and got my gun. He didn't act afraid. Maybe he thought I was bluffing. She said he took another step toward me, so I fired at him. Can't remember how many times, but I kept firing until I saw him stagger out the back door.
Oh, boy.
So he went and fell out the back door. Now, they listened to the whole thing, and they were like, okay, well, that all makes sense. Question, though, why are all the bullet holes in his back? That's the problem we have here. You're saying a completely different thing. That's kind of, I don't think he wanted to be near you at the time you were shooting him. So they arrest her and charge her with attempted murder. Assault with intention to commit murder with malice.
My goodness.
So, yeah.
That sounds serious.
You on purpose tried to kill that son of a bitch is what they said there. So they talked to Connie here. Connie said that Mama told me to get out of the house, and she yelled at Bill to leave. That's when I heard some shots and ran to the kitchen. I looked outside and saw Bill on the ground by the porch. Okay. Now, his daughter has a completely different story.
A different take.
Yeah, his daughter Barbara says she was listening to the phone call on the telephone extension between Betty Lou and him. Mm-hmm. She said that Betty Lou called Billy. He didn't call her.
Okay.
She called Billy crying and asked him to come over and get his things. He asked, how many times are you going to shoot me? He asked her that.
Reasonable question.
Yeah, and she said none, haha, whatever. He also said, well, how many police are going to be there when I get there? Because you got a restraining order against me and blah, blah, blah. And he said, why don't we meet in a different location? How's that? And she said, no, come here and get your stuff. I'm not going to bring it to you. So the father left at 1:10 a.m., Billy did, and told his daughter he'd be back in 30 minutes. She said she begged him not to go. He went anyway, and now he's lying in a pool of his own blood out on the porch.
Order a pizza, I'll beat it.
I'll get there,
Right.
yeah. So he says he survives this shooting.
Unbelievable.
Which is crazy. And he says he climbed into the car. He drove over there. He said, when I got to the back door of the apartment, everything was dark. I called to her to open the door, but she told me to leave. Guess she changed her mind about having a conversation. So I turned to leave. Next thing I know, she opened the door and she's holding the gun on me.
Oh, boy.
So I start to leave and she fires the darn thing. Darn thing is quite a...
So cavalier she tried to murder me.
Darn thing is equal to murder weapon. That's pretty amazing. Darn thing. Imagine that if everyone who was shot was like, that darn thing shot.
I can't imagine.
He said, I was still able to move, but she fired again and I lost consciousness. The last thing I remember her saying was, if you move, I'll shoot again. And apparently he moved and she shot again. You sorry, son bitch. So, this is fucking crazy here. He ends up signing an affidavit to get her out of trouble. He doesn't want her in trouble because they're still talking because they have a crazy relationship where they're nuts and they keep coming back to each other.
So volatile.
He signs an affidavit saying he threatened her life, so the charges are reduced to aggravated assault, to which he was at the trial the whole time saying that that's not what happened. She ends up getting off on this whole thing.
Holy shit.
She gets off, and right after the trial, when she gets off, they get remarried.
Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
She shot you with the darn thing.
Yeah.
He broke
she
your
fired
nose.
the darn thing. Do you remember?
He's punching, she's shooting. Stop being together.
This is what happens when crazy chicks fuck good.
Oh, my
problem.
God. Jesus Christ. And also are looking for abusive assholes, too, at the same time. So this lasted 1 month, the reconciliation, because they're still the same people, obviously. Betty... Jesus Christ. Betty takes Bobby and moves to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
Gets the shit out of Texas there.
Suey.
Yeah. Now that's appropriate. That's exactly right. So November 1973, she's 36 years old, working at the 7-Eleven in Little Rock.
What a life she has had.
With 6 kids.
Yeah.
Only at 36, she's had the experiences, like I said, of a weathered truck stop waitress times 3 now. Yeah. She's not even the waitress anymore. She's just the woman who rings you up at the end, who's too tired to even stand and wait tables anymore.
Is that 2 hot dogs?
All right, Dan. So she's hanging out at a country bar called Stetson's. And she meets a guy named Ronnie Threlcold at this point. She meets Ronnie.
Yeah.
At this point, we are going to go to an edition... special feature of Hillbilly Masterpiece Theater. Okay? Imagine the scene. Stetson's in Arkansas, Little Rock. There are people all milling about, beers in their hand. Yeah. Imagine basically any bar scene from Urban Cowboy. Basically, when they meet, their eyes lock from across the room.
The opening is just a pan of that sign.
That's
with
all
the
it
big
is.
hat outline, because there's a hat on it, for sure.
You know there is.
Absolutely.
Stetson's with a big hat. Yeah. It's written in cursive on the hat.
It's written in a rope.
In a rope. I was going to say, on the hat. Yeah, like a Vegas, like that. Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
So these two come together. She's looking in his eyes, deep in his eyes. He's looking back at her. She says, quote, "Don't say sweet things to me." She says, because I melt easily.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. She looked up at him and he kissed her at this point.
Opening line is kiss?
Well, they were already talking, but this is how they got.
Who do you think he is, Trump?
He was sweet talking her. Yeah, opening line is a finger. So she said, "Don't say sweet things to me. I melt easily." So he kisses her. She kisses him back again. She kisses him a second time. And then she says, "Sure hope you don't think I'm a fast woman if I invite you to come home with me." Okay. Ooh, it's getting hot now. He says, quote, "Ma'am, that's an invitation I'll gladly accept." Zip. And that concludes this edition of Hillbilly Masterpiece Theater. They go home and fuck in a trailer. Yes. So the masterpiece part kind of goes at that point. At that point, they're a couple. Yeah, they're a couple. They have a crazy relationship too. Obviously, he's always out, so she goes by the C. She gets on her CB all the time to talk to him. They're talking on the CB radio. Her handle is Tiger. Yes. Tiger, which this is a big deal. CBs back then, they're in the trucks, and if you don't know, that's Texas Tinder. That's what that is. That is Texas Tinder right there. You got him right. Breaker one. That's Texas Tinder, baby. I'm going to find me somebody out there on the road.
You answer that call. That's a swipe right.
That's a swipe right there. Oh, if I have a click, that's swipe right. So she calls her. Ronnie said the name sure fit her, and he would whatever. That name sure fit her. She's a tiger, boy.
That old wild pussy.
And a wild puss. So he said,
God, Jesus.
Whenever he came within her CB range, he'd call out and ask, "How's the tiger in that tank?"
Oh, boy.
So that's his way right there of bringing it together.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. They had arguments all the time. Shocker. He was rough with her. He kind of beat her up a little bit here and there. But she didn't take any shit.
No.
She's to the point now where she's not going to be docile and go, "Oh, he hit me. What do I do?"
I shot a man and I'm free.
Yeah, she's in both. She's like Tupac. That's what she is. She's like, I got off on them charges. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
So she didn't take any shit this time. She ends up one time he pushed her around, so she slashed all of his tires, not just one of them. Slashed the whole thing. She's turned into it's now a country music video. Another time they had a confrontation. Didn't turn physical, but she turned it physical by hitting him with a tire jack.
Jesus.
So not a tire iron, the whole jack.
Yeah.
So
the whole lumberjack one, the one that goes under the side,
the hydraulic one. You put the big long piece of pipe on
the fucking teeth that you bring it up.
She'd have to be very strong.
She got Smug Life tattooed on her belly.
Yeah, exactly. She says she complained to him, quote, "People take advantage of me, especially my own children. They're always wanting me to do things for them. Jesus. I really want to move back to Dallas. I really miss my kids." She would say those in the same sentence. And he was like, You don't want your kids around because they make you, quote, do stuff for them. Right. And then you also really miss your kids and want to go to Dallas. Like, he didn't know what to do with her at this point. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
She's a walking contradiction.
She's a walking contradiction. And she wanted to move to Texas, and she's saying, move to Texas with me. And he's lifelong little Rockian, if you want to call it that. He's got all his whole family's there. His parents are there, everything. But he's a salesman. So he says, I can sell shit anywhere. I can always be a salesman. So what the hell? Let's move to Dallas. Jesus. So they move to Dallas, and in February of 1978, they get married. He starts to he likes to go out and drink and shoot pool with the boys and do all that type of shit. Like, he's not a guy who comes home at 6 o'clock and they sit and watch Jeopardy together.
You mean he doesn't have 6 kids?
He doesn't have 6 kids, basically. Right. So they're married on February 16th. This doesn't work out any better. He's out all the time drinking. She becomes obsessed with keeping slim because she's finding it harder to keep weight off now. She's getting older. So she, to combat that, she takes more and more Dexatrim. So she ups her speed dosage, which shockingly doesn't make for a more stable relationship, obviously. It's strange, right? She'd go from Bobby, the son, who's 12 at this point, told a friend, quote, "One moment we got along fine, and the next thing she's a different person. It's like she got hateful all of a sudden, and I mean all of a sudden." They were like, "Mom freaks the fuck out." You know, like people on speed do. Right. They ever seen a guy on speed walking, and then they're just like, "The flies are eating my face." And you're like, "Where the fuck did that come from?" That's meth. That's what that does. Right. There's no flies or anything like that. So Bobby said it didn't matter whether she was drinking or not. Whether she changed, because they said, well, my dad drinks and he acts different. And he said, it's not that. She'll be fine. 1 minute she's literally, he said in mid-sentence she would change. Her face would change. Everything would change. All of a sudden she started saying fuck in front of the kids all the time, too.
And she never did before?
Never did. She was always like, you watch your mouth and watch your language and all that. Outside of sorry, some bitch, she wasn't cursing very much in front of the kids. And apparently now she would. She was also paranoid. She viewed her own daughters as competition for her husband and would accuse them of sleeping with her husband all the time. Like, you're sleeping with Ronnie, ain't you? And they'd be like, no. And he'd be like, I'm not fucking sleeping. What are you talking about? One night, we don't know if this is in her imagination, if this is some sort of speed-induced vision, or if this actually happened or not. One night, she's in Ronnie's in the kitchen, and her daughter is in the kitchen with him. And apparently her daughter had dropped her robe in front of him in the kitchen, is what Betty said. Betty said she came in the kitchen and there was him sitting in a kitchen chair and she was standing up with a robe on the floor around her.
Like, she just comes in and goes, would you like this
She
tonight?
goes, titties, and just drops her. I have mac and cheese. We have some leftover sloppy Joe mix or my boobs. And then she just dropped her thing.
Or you can eat this.
Or you can eat this. Right. What do you think Betty said to him?
You sorry some bitch.
Exact words. You sorry son bitch. That's exactly what she screamed at. You got it.
How about that? You can ask me all kind of questions about like how was this town founded? What was this?
Nope.
I'm always wrong. But with hillbillies, I know my
sorry son bitch. That's her line. That's her go-to. Jimmy knows hillbillies. So she screamed, I knew something like this was going on. You're always giving my girls the eye. But to do something like this right here in my home, well, that takes it all. You sorry son bitch.
And so she just freaks out, and they don't know why she's freaking out.
No, they don't realize that she's on speed and might have inherited mental issues also, or whatever. She's just had it. I don't know what it is. He said, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
I'm not fucking your daughters. This isn't true. He said, get out. She said, get out. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. You know, she wants him to leave. So the next day, he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. She's going crazy. This isn't working. I'm leaving. Now she's threatening me, whatever. So he loads up all his shit. He's out in the driveway, out by the street, loading up all his shit in the car. As he's doing that, he hears an engine revving, and he turns around, and it's Betty Lou in a 1973 Chrysler Cordova, which is a fucking boat.
It's a heavy car.
Heavy car.
It's a lot of car.
Screaming at him down the road. At him. Not looking like she's going to slow down anytime soon.
318 in it. That car moves.
Moving. And it's like 8,000 pounds of pure steel. He jumps out of the way to avoid being run over by the car, and she tries to hit him as he runs away, sprays gravel and shit all over him as she's driving off. He jumps in the car. This is like a Smokey and the Bandit or some crazy hillbilly fucking soap opera here. He jumps in the car, takes off, never goes back. He says, I'm done with that shit completely. Left nothing behind. He left for Little Rock and never looked back at Texas. Never looked back at her or Texas or anything else here. So that marriage is over. Yeah. So what do? You've gone through a few marriages now. You're 42 years old. You have some kids, and you've had attempted murder charges in your past. What do you do, Jimmy?
Attempted murder that didn't get charged.
That didn't get charged. She begins topless dancing.
Oh my God,
that seems like
that's
a wise
new
decision.
Career.
Yeah, let's take a new career on. So she shows up at it's a bad neighborhood strip club in Dallas.
Beautiful.
Basically called Charlie's Angels.
I was guessing the shitty titty.
Yeah, the shitty titty. There are no Charlie's Angels going there at all.
Of course not.
She showed up and just was like, I'm going to go on stage now and dance. And the manager said, quote, lady, you can't just show up here and go to work. You got to audition. And she lied about her age. She said she was 32 instead of 42. He said that she said, well, I'll show up and I'll dance better than any of these girls will, and blah, blah, blah.
The thing about shaving time off of how old you are, you can't go 10. Like 10, that's a decade's a lot.
Yeah, you can go 5 and people are like, all right. Yeah. Especially when you're naked, too, because then everything can be seen. And you're like, really?
10 years that's a lot. That's a whole lot. When I was 22, I looked a whole lot than when I was 12. It's a big difference. 32, big difference from 22.
It is. That's true. That is a big fucking difference.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like, there's a lot more brown in some areas that shouldn't be there when I'm 38 from when I was 32.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's very strange down there now.
It's very strange now. So she's getting ready backstage. Another one of the dancers teaches her how to put pasties on her nipples, because I guess you had to have pasties on your nipples. She said she'd be fine. She said, quote, don't you worry about me. This ain't my first rodeo. You think I haven't taken off my clothes in front of men before?
Oh, boy.
They were like, all right there, sister, go out there and do your thing.
I'm 32.
I'm mature is what I'm getting at. So I've had 3 kids. So she is backstage waiting to get out, waiting for her big chance to come out there. She chooses the handle to be announced by as Sexy Tiger.
You betcha.
So Sexy Tiger's getting ready. Texas Tinder. She gets up there to the stage. What she ends up doing is when she gets up there, she tries to take one of her things off and knocks off something else she was wearing, and one of her pasties falls off. And she kind of it's a complete mess in the first 5 seconds.
The whole titty's out.
The whole titty's out. So rather than fix it and act like it's, whatever, I don't know, like laugh a little or act like it's part of the show or something, she grabs the microphone and says, quote, is there some nice gentleman in the audience who'd like to assist me in putting this thing back on? So everybody ran on stage with their dicks out, obviously. You don't invite a bunch of horny guys. You want to come up here and help me with my tits? Yeah,
somebody
they do.
hold my titty.
All of them do.
We all want to help.
We all do. So that was a bad beginner's mistake. 7 men rushed up to the stage before security could grab the other rest of the room and hold them back.
Because nobody wanted to go 7th.
No. The first one arrives and takes the pasty from her. Right. Rather than putting it on his nipple, he takes his other hand and grabs her boob. Jesus. So he grabs her. People laugh at this whole thing, which obviously isn't funny.
Hilarious.
But it's hilarious as Texas in the 70s in a strip club. As this is happening, another guy pops on stage. This guy is dressed nicely for a strip club. He's wearing a black suit, and he pulls the guy away and flips open his wallet, and it's the Dallas Police Vice Squad. And she is under arrest for lewd and lascivious behavior. He says, come with me. He arrests her. She ends up being charged with knowingly engaging in an act of sexual contact with Archie Phillips by allowing him to touch her breast while said person was in a public place. Which she kind of got molested and diddled, and she got arrested for it, which is fucked up completely. What's even more fucked up is the judge fined her $250 and put her in jail for 30 days.
Wow.
30 days for getting her boob grabbed.
My Christ.
And a year probation, just in case.
Bet that judge has had a hooker before.
You know he
Absolutely.
has. You know he's looking at her going, you're a filthy dancing, Jezebel. You're going, and that's probably the most he could have given her for that.
He said all that while Hooker was blowing him under his table.
Yeah. Now listen here. What I was saying was, now listen. All right, hold on. Is anybody else hungry? All right.
Can anybody else use a cigarette now?
Let's all smoke. So they get a divorce while this is all going on, Ronnie and Betty, obviously.
Right.
So at this point, she's filling up her truck with gas at a truck stop in Mesquite, Texas one day, where you meet all the people who should be in your life. She meets Doyle Wayne Barker.
Yep.
Old Doyle.
Yep.
Doyle's a tall, good-looking man.
Yep.
He's like a muscular guy. He's a construction worker and a roofer, and he's kind of a lean, kind of Texas kind of cat over here.
Doyle in cursive on a patch on his chest.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
And never mind his belt buckle.
No.
Never mind his belt buckle.
Thing.
Just enormous. Just enormous.
That's probably just a big D. A big D right
just a
there.
big one. Dallas.
Right.
So Mesquite. Big
right
M.
above my D.
Doyle and Dallas. So he had previously been married for 8 years, and he had 2 sons also. They apparently, when she invited him over to her apartment, he immediately took to Bobby. Bobby liked him, that sort of thing. He wasn't a complete asshole. He worked, the guy who owned the roofing company, Doyle hung out with this guy and his wife, so they would go on, do couple things, and they would go to the lake together, and they would go out to eat together, and yeah, it was more of it wasn't like a trailer trash kind of relationship. Like, they lived in a trailer, don't get me wrong. They did, actually. They 100% lived in a trailer. One of the things she was very excited about was getting a nice trailer out of this deal, because Doyle had a nice trailer there.
Great place.
So, Wayne Doyle Barker here. So she told everybody, quote, Wayne is just the man I've been looking for.
Right.
She told everybody that, just the man she'd been looking for. They get married on October 3rd, 1979, because she's got to marry everything that comes across her desk, basically. Barker apparently is known as a big drinker, though. Faye's husband knows him from the bars. And Faye's husband said that he's a big drinker at the 7 Points bar he would go to. And this guy would intentionally bump into people just to start fights. He's that guy. He's drunk going, where are you going?
Right.
Like, he's that asshole.
Watch out, boy.
That dickhead in the fucking bar who you just want to fucking murder.
Yeah.
So they end up separating after only 7 weeks of being together, is the problem here. But just like before, a stint in the hospital brings them together. She is in a serious car accident, Betty is.
Fuck.
Receives major head injuries, a basilar skull fracture, lacerations, cerebral concussion. She had migraines after this that got really bad. Her hearing, it worsened her hearing loss, too.
That's brutal.
Fucked it up even more, forced her to wear hearing aids now to be able to hear anything.
She hit that steering wheel.
Yeah, she probably did. She always wore her hair down and fluffed it up over her ears so nobody could see her hearing aids now. She was still very vain about that sort of thing, as I'm sure anybody would be.
Sure.
Especially if you're not 75, you know, you're in your 40s, you're out looking for men. Right. You don't want them to be like, hey, that's a nice hearing aid. That's a nice bell tone you're wearing there. Like,
they have not made those small enough to where they're unnoticeable yet.
Totally.
I love how they're like, these are less noticeable. No, they're fucking not. They're in your goddamn ear.
Yeah.
It's right there on your...
Right there.
It's ridiculous.
We're looking right at it. So Barker came to her while she was recovering and said he was sorry for all their problems. If she'd give him another chance, he'd become a new man. So she is desperate at this point and worried about her injuries and all that, so she takes him back. She promised, she was going to buy a half-acre lot in the Cherokee Hills section of Gun Barrel City for $8,800.
Deal.
If Barker would match that amount for a new trailer. Their house is going to cost less than $9,000.
That's amazing.
Which is incredible.
The lot and the house, $20,000.
$20,000, less than that. So she wanted a cream and brown 2-bedroom trailer. That's what she wanted, and she was very excited. She bought a gray sofa and a chair that matched everything, and she was all pumped up, just Texas ready for all this shit here.
And they're going in as partners, which is a great way to do it.
It really is. At one point, though, she insists that he build a shed on the property. Okay. She said she needed it to store more stuff that was cluttering up the house, and he needed to build a shed, so he builds a shed out back, and we'll find out what happens with that shed here in a minute here. They officially filed for divorce in 1980, but it keeps lingering.
Sure.
It keeps lingering and lingering. October 1981, it's still lingering.
My Christ, a year and a half.
Year and a half later, it's these relationships, these bad cocktails. She starts telling her children that he had begun slapping her again, and they said, well, why don't you divorce him? That would be the smart thing to do. She said, quote, not yet. Let me handle this in my own way, which is, if your mom's a little out there and she already shot a guy, you're kind of like, all right. Like, I can't wait to see what this is.
I mean, in a divorce, you get half, so how's your own way that's going to get you more?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, the kids say the kids liked Wayne a lot, they said that he was always really nice to them, but they believed Betty because literally Bobby said, well, Mom can be two different people, so maybe he's two different people too. Maybe he's a different person in front of us and then a different person behind closed doors.
Logical thing to think.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to think. I mean, he's not a different person during the same sentence like she is, so I don't know.
That's a good point, too.
Yeah. Man, so at one point, her daughter said, quote, Mama, what are you going to do about Wayne? I just hate to hear how he's treating you. And she said, I'm going to kill him. Just very like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I didn't tell you that. Like, yeah, I'm going to the store later. Like, oh, I'm going to kill him. Yeah, I got it. So,
help me with this rhubarb.
Yeah, help me. Keep chopping. So her daughter Shirley laughed and said, no, don't talk silly, Mama. I mean, really, what are you going to do? You've got to leave him or he could really hurt you. And she said, so you think I want to take this shit? And she said, and the daughter said, you've got to divorce him. That's all there is to it. And apparently Betty remained silent for a minute and then just popped out with, hell, I can't do that. The trailer's in his name. Even if I divorce him, he'll get half the damn trailer and I'll be stuck with an empty lot. What's that good? What good's that to me? So she's wants to kill a man so she doesn't have to move into a different trailer. Wow, that must be a really nice fucking trailer. Like, whoa. Jesus Christ, man.
What a solution.
The daughter said, you should buy a trailer. You told me you make good tips at your job. If you start a little nest egg in a few months, you might have a down payment. In the meantime, get a restraining order. You know, reasonable shit. Get a restraining order, call the cops, save up money, get your own trailer.
Right.
You know, like you tell people. So Betty Lou said, nah, winter's coming. I ain't getting put out in the cold. Winter's coming. Literally, that's what she said. Like, what? What the fuck?
I felt a winter chill this morning, and I decided right then, he's got to go.
He's got to go. There's no wind. I remember the wind coming through, no windows. So the daughter says, you can't really kill him. What if you get caught? She said, I won't get caught. She said, hell, I planned every detail enough to see that. Look over there. And she said, look over there. There's an open space in the trees near that shed that he built. And she said, see them trees? She said, see that hole? And pointed to a big mound of loose soil that had been freshly pulled out. Right. And the daughter said, what's it? What about it? And the mother said, that's where he's going to be. No one's ever going to find him. All right, then.
Right there at his own house.
Right there at his own house in the yard. The daughter said, "You dug the hole by yourself?" And she said, "No, of course not." She said, "I was talking to a real nice one of them construction worker guys who was fixing the street on the next block. I told him I was building a barbecue pit and needed a hole dug. I said, I bet it wouldn't take you but a few minutes to dig something about 4 feet deep with that big backhoe of yours." And he said he guessed he wouldn't. He said it would, he would come by after work. She said, course, like most men, he said he was hoping I'd have something warm waiting for him. He said, she said, though, I couldn't risk a toss in bed, not with Wayne coming home about the same time. So I thought, what the hell? I'll just pay him $20. I don't want to get messed up with anyone else right now.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting. I would have fucked him for a hole, but I said, fuck it, here's $20 instead, because that's all I feel like I'm worth.
It's almost more disgusting for a construction worker to say, as long as there's something warm waiting for me.
Maybe he just was hungry. He's like, please have a meal waiting for me. And she's like, that always means pussy.
You mean pussy?
She just thinks every man that's what it is. And he's like, I just wanted like a sandwich.
Some mac and cheese.
Some something good. I don't know. Some fried chicken. Sounds good to me.
Pork. I don't know.
Whatever you got. I'm fine.
You mean pussy?
Brisket. Oh, pussy. I'll take that too. Don't get me wrong now. That's fine also. But what I'm saying is I wasn't expecting.
That is fucking hysterical.
Pussy on the table was what I was thinking. So the daughter said, yeah, but now someone knows that you dug a hole. Like, that's not good. And she said, yeah, but he's not the type to put 2 and 2 together. If he does, I'll just have something warm waiting for him. So I will fuck the witness to this murder. I'm going to... She's a mess
what
right
if
now.
he did mean food?
Yeah.
And what if he does get wise and then he comes over and you're sitting there spread eagle and you're like, how about this sexy tiger?
Like, I said I like brisket.
Right.
That's what I was after. That is not a pulled pork.
I do not smell no barbecue, ma'am.
No. So, I smell nothing cooking. Oh, but
what
something
the
though.
Fuck?
So at one point...
That's the problem with trying to have some sort of conversation with somebody and you're using like innuendo and like code words. What if they don't catch on?
What if they don't get it? Yeah. Something warm, wink, wink. Like, yeah, and she's sitting there with her pants off when he comes in the door. He's like, ma'am? Excuse me, ma'am?
I really like ribeye.
I can see your butthole right now. And... I just wanted like a steak. Maybe a nice.
What if he's gay and just really likes brisket?
That's another thing. You never know. So a few nights later, Wayne is sleeping.
You're about to insult the man with your pussy.
Come on now, don't insult me with that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's no, it's all good. He's Wayne's sleeping a couple nights later. She goes into the nightstand and pulls out her .38 Colt revolver. It's an antique ivory handle job. The gun is. It's not like real shiny anymore. It's kind of a dirty one. She keeps in there in her nightstand. So she takes it up. She picks it up. She looks at him. She fucking sits there. She takes a couple shots of Jim Beam.
Oh boy.
To try to loosen herself up a little bit. She thinks about it. There's no houses around there. It's a lot all by itself. So the noise isn't going to be a big deal. So she didn't know what to do. She said, well, I guess someone's still going to hear it. I know what I'll do. I guess if I puff this pillow up, I can use that as a silencer.
Yeah.
So she shoots him through the pillow like a fucking gangster. Like a fucking gangster, okay? She thinks she shoots him in the skull. She said her hand was shaking when she did it. Now we're in a metal trailer that we just shot off a .38 in, so it's loud as shit in there.
It's still echoing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when she shot him, his body jerked around, and she thought, oh, no, the pillow threw off her aim, and fuck, what's going on? I might not have hit him right. And so she quickly shoots him again to make sure that he's dead. Like, oh, okay, now I got him here. Wow.
Now it's a Dixie Chick song.
Goodbye,
Chick song. Earl.
The whole place is full of fucking... the sound and the blood and everything else.
Na, 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 na. Such a great song.
She's fucking hillbillies. So she said she felt relieved that he was gone and no one's going to take her trailer away from her now. At this moment, she felt relieved. She turned on the light and everything was fucking bloody. There's blood everywhere. Yeah. She's like, well, that's going to be a problem. She goes into the bathroom. She washes off her hands and that sort of thing. She washes off like her nightgown in the sink, tries to get the blood off of it. She looks in the closet. And she's like, okay. She gets out 2 sheets of green plastic that a new chair that she bought had come wrapped in, a shit chair, I assume.
She kept the plastic.
She kept the plastic for this very occasion. She tucks the plastic over and under Wayne's body so it would stop seeping onto the sheets. She then hauls out a blue canvas sleeping bag and unzips it, and she rolls Wayne's body into it on the bed. She rolls him over little by little. Apparently, she said that she thought it wouldn't take this long. She just didn't realize he was so heavy and this would be so difficult to do. So she zipped the bag up at that point and rolled him to the edge of the bed, like she's going to push him off. So she has that going on. Gives him a push. He falls off the bed with a thud of a corpse at that point, obviously. So now she's like, oh, shit. She gets her shoes and clothes and all that sort of thing and takes them all out of her closet and pushes him inside of the closet and like hides him away for a second here. Now she starts Lysoling the place down and trying to clean it. And now she's going on a mad This is when the Dexatrim comes in handy. This is when meth comes in handy. When you need to clean up a murder scene, you want to be on meth for that. So she does everything. She spends the whole night washing the sheets, washing the towels, her night clothes. She rinsed towels out multiple times because the water was still running bloody and pink. Finally, she cleaned up everything. She took a hot shower. She scrubbed everything off, and then she went back and laid down on the couch and fell asleep.
Because the bed's a mess.
The bed's a mess. So she went, the bed's all bloody. So next morning, Shirley comes over, her daughter, and finds her mother sleeping.
Yeah.
And so her mother wakes up and was like, I fucking killed Wayne.
It's over.
And so I did it. So Shirley says, Mom, I'll help you. Which, no.
What?
Get out. Don't come back. We never had this conversation. I don't want you knowing anything. Betty said, you don't have to. In fact, I'm not sure I want you to. I'm positive I don't want my kids to help me with that, but she's not sure. Daughter said she couldn't stand for anything to happen to her, so please let me help you. Finally, Betty says, okay, but we have to do it like this. You can never tell a soul. Got it? Not Larry, not your sisters, not anybody.
My
all right,
goodness.
Let's dispose of your stepdad.
What the hell?
Wow. So the daughter says she will never tell anybody. She'll be too afraid. Betty tells her daughter to tell her husband, to tell Shirley's husband, that Wayne and her got in a big brouhaha, the whole thing. And she said, say I don't want to be home tonight in case he comes back to hurt me. Then I'll come over after dinner and we'll wait until dark, till Larry goes to bed, and then we'll come back here and we'll bury Wayne.
Got it.
So that's the plan, okay?
Wow.
It's fucking crazy. Her mother kept talking through this whole thing. She said, also, if someone saw what looked like a grave, it might attract attention. I don't want any of those damn dogs in the neighborhood coming over and digging them up. Tomorrow, I'll go to 7 Points. I'll get some cinder blocks, and we can build a patio over him. That way, no one will know he's there.
Wow.
That's what she says. So she tells Shirley we need to wait for it's dark, till it's dark. So they go through with that plan.
Now they got a Pinterest experiment to do.
Yeah, they have to do a whole thing now. I think you should arrange them like this, Mom. His corpse is covered. It's fine. That's not on Pinterest. So they build a bonfire outside when it gets dark. They sit around drinking until it's dark enough, quote, at midnight. Betty goes, all right, it's dark enough. So they push him out of the house. They drag him through with the sleeping bag out of the house. They roll him down the front stairs. The whole thing, roll him and bounce him down the stairs.
How many stops to take breaths?
I know. Jesus Christ. He is heavy. I know. What are you feeding him all this for, Mom? Jesus Christ. So
he was not this heavy on top of me. I swear.
I swear. So they dump him in the hole. Mm-hmm. They put a little bit of dirt on him. Shirley's like, I can see it doesn't not hidden very well. Right. Shirley, Betty said, cinder blocks will hide all of that. Don't worry about it. Let's go inside and get hammered.
The tag Coleman is still sitting out of the grave. What are we doing?
So they went inside and got shit-faced.
Okay.
Like they were celebrating something. So Doyle's gone. He's just, Wayne's gone. Doyle, he's gone. Out of there, whatever. Everyone just goes, must have left. I don't know. So what does she do? Moving on, meet another man.
Oh my God!
She meets a Texas native named Jimmy Down Beats.
You betcha.
Who's the most Betty Lou Beats and Jimmy Down Beats is the most Texas couple ever.
Holy shit!
He's the third, so you know he's got issues there. He's born Christmas Eve, 1957. He's an Army veteran and a captain in the fire department.
Tough dude.
So he's a tough dude. Yeah. They met, and when they met in a bar, by the way, we're gonna have to go into a Hillbilly Masterpiece Theater for this one, guys. She said, what's your name? He said, my friends call me Jimmy Down. She said, nice to meet you, Mr. Down. And they had a good laugh together. He smiled and said, do you have an answer for everything? And she said, I wish. And he said, well, can you answer this? When do you get off work?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, shit.
She said, quote, late. Those big brown eyes of yours would be pretty sleepy if you wanted to wait for me. I get home sometime between 1:30 and 2. He said, well, that's past my bedtime. I'll need to catch you on a day when I don't have an early shift the next day. That cemented it.
Oh, my God.
Cemented it. Cemented it completely. They're a couple at that point. Hasn't even been a year since Wayne's been killed, but they're together. She gets married again to him in 1982, August 19th, 1982. She at this point begs him to build a well in the yard, a decorative well.
Yeah.
It's funny. She wants him built right over where Wayne is buried.
Gotcha.
Interesting thing.
Yeah.
I need a planter. She wants to plant shit in a decorative well.
I love flowers. You know those fake wells where like the bucket has
You know what
roses
I'm
and
talking
shit
about,
in it?
right?
That's what I want.
So he went and stuck it up there, stuck up the well. He thinks everything's great. He's a happy guy until August 6th, 1983, when he fucking disappears. He disappears. Betty said he went night fishing the night before, never came home.
Okay.
That's that. Two men find his boat the next morning when they're out fishing.
Yeah.
They see his boat kind of bobbing near the dock.
Sure.
So they go, let's go take a look at whose boat that is, because they all kind of know each other around there. They look at the license inside. They see it's Jimmy Don Beats. They know Jimmy Don Beats, and they're like, where the fuck would he abandon his boat?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So they call up. They go to the marina. The marina person calls up the house to see if Jimmy Don had lost his boat or whatever the fuck, and he's going to call and go, hey, we got your boat. They call. Betty Lou answers the phone and says, he didn't come home last night from night fishing.
Right.
Oh, my God. So she runs on down there. She says she was in the middle of doing yard work. Okay. So, it'll take me a minute. She gets there, full makeup, not a speck of dirt on her.
Oh, boy.
Full Sunday clothes.
Oh, boy.
Ready to go. So they're like, well, that's weird. She doesn't look like she's doing yard work. They see that his engine, the propeller, the prop has been sheared off. They're like, well, maybe he hit a rock and he had to swim back. But they said he wouldn't have drowned. He would have been able to swim back. Sure. They said he was in great shape. He could have swam across this lake twice if he wanted to. They basically said if his prop sheared off, he could have fixed that on the fly because he's that kind of cat.
He's a hero.
He's that kind of dude.
Yeah.
So they're like, they don't understand what happened to him. They further investigate. They find nitroglycerin pills on the floor of the boat, and he had a heart problem a couple years ago and has these pills just in case.
Gotcha.
And they also find his glasses on the floor of the boat.
Okay.
So like maybe he was having a heart attack, and he fell over, couldn't get his pills, and he fell off the side and drowned.
And there's a rumor about a giant ass fish in this lake.
Boy,
old
my
Toothy.
uncle saw him.
Old Toothy. He was here. I saw my uncle caught him, and it broke his damn rod.
Just as it was coming up to the boat, he said, "Get the net!" And I turned to get the net, and I turned back around. I saw him swimming away. Damn!
You could see his fin in the top of the water.
It was like Jaws, just a wake behind him. Just a huge wake.
I'll bet Jimmy Don was fighting Toothy.
So what ends up happening is they say that if he was the one that you would ask for help from if you had a problem, so he's not the one that would have a problem and not be able to solve it basically on his own.
Gotcha.
So everybody comes. I mean, it looks like fucking Mad Max with people are coming from everywhere. There's private planes going back and forth that people own looking for him. All the fire department, the police, everybody, they're all out there on a Saturday on their boats going out in the lake. They're swimming around. They're looking for this fucking guy.
Great.
It's a big deal here. They're all looking for him. It's super weird, though, because she keeps showing up just in the middle of the day and how y'all doing out there? Everybody good? Okay. And then she'll just leave.
No looking.
Well, what's she going to do?
I mean, wander around the banks?
Something.
Anything.
Look like you're looking.
Get in a boat with them?
Something. At one point, too, the fucked up part is they must have hated her, too, because the way she was acting through this whole thing, just showing up there. They said that she would, other people would be more show more anguish over this than her. Her friends were crying, but she never cried or anything like that. At one point, they say, after 3-4 days, they're he would be floating by now.
Right.
Unless he's weighed down, he would be floating if he, by now, in a lake. He ain't in this fucking lake, basically.
Either Toothy ate him.
Yeah.
Or he probably ain't in this lake.
Either somebody put him here on purpose and he's weighed down at the bottom of it, or else he ain't fucking here and we're all doing this shit for nothing. So after a while, they decide we can't find him. She's already looking at coffins 2 days after he's missing. And they're like, let's make sure he's dead first.
Right.
Maybe he didn't just run away.
We need remains at minimum to put in that coffin.
Yeah, right. So none of these people, they all believe, and his father is at one point at the search site, and nobody believes. They're like, okay, he's got to be gone. Someone had to have done something to him. He would never disappear like this. He's never had in his whole life. It's at this point that Betty Lou pulls up. And Jimmy Don's father said, quote, "That damn woman, Jimmy Don ain't in this lake. No, sir. That son of a bitch woman has done something really bad to my son."
God, wow, is son of a bitch such an insult down there.
It's amazing,
Did I
right?
say insult? I mean insult, but
I know.
Why did I emphasize the word anyway?
That's great. So the family said, calm down on the coffin. Let's find him first.
Yeah.
Then they find out she has, or he has, and she's the beneficiary of a $100,000 life insurance policy with $1,200 a month pension from the fire department.
Oh, shit.
So that's way more than she's living
That
on.
buys a big-ass trailer.
Oh, she'd get a third bedroom now. So, they keep looking for him for days and days and days. Nobody thinks he's in the lake. They go to psychics. Mm-hmm. They get this one woman who is described in the newspaper as a 400-pound woman in her 60s. She sat where Jimmy Don's boat had been found.
Right.
She had her eyes closed, inhaling the lake air and all that kind of shit. The whole deal. She basically has no answers for them, so they bring another one in who is described as a short, matronly woman from Georgia with coal black hair. I don't know. That's how they described her in the paper, which I found funny. This woman said he's in a castle. He's buried in a castle. So they went up and down the lake looking for something that looked like a castle. They finally found a house that had like turrets kind of a thing, like a setup, like a Spanish-style fortress-type house. So they went and fucking dug this guy's yard up and brought dogs in. And this guy's like, what the hell are you talking about?
I built this to keep you assholes out.
Yeah, so who could have done this? This is crazy. The psychic makes a wild prediction at this point. The psychic predicts that, quote, Mr. Beats will be found on July 8th, 1985. Okay, July 8th, 85. Remember that date. Okay. 1984, Betty burns Jimmy's lake house to the ground that he had.
Oh, boy.
They never get to charge her, but police are pretty sure it's arson, and they're pretty sure it's her.
Got it.
And she collects a settlement from that because she's still waiting on the other one because he's not officially dead yet. So finally, in February 85, she files for her death certificate at that point. So now she's trying to collect insurance money. So now it's a different thing. So now they're really looking for him, and they get a tip, and we'll find out where this tip is from in a minute. They get a tip, and they go looking for him on June 8th, 1985.
Oh, my God.
That is 30 days. That is
so close.
month from where the psychic said.
Yeah.
Guess where they have a tip to search? Betty's yard.
Yeah.
So they're looking for Betty's yard. There's been rumors and people have said stuff, and it sounded all crazy. But then when they heard a tip from her own son, they went, maybe we'll look into this. And we'll find out why the son knows also. Okay. They get there. The lead detective says, let's see, get the backhoe in here. Let's start with that wishing well right there. What do you say? Yeah. So they knock the wishing well over with a backhoe. They start digging out with little shovels to not fuck shit up. About a foot down, they hit a 3x3 piece of plywood. Okay. At that point, they go, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" Yeah. The detective stops everybody and calls over the crime scene guys, has them take a lot of pictures of this, and says, quote, "I want this jury to see how someone cut this piece of wood, especially for this well. I want them to see how premeditated this is." Yeah. So they make them take a whole bunch of shit. They take a whole bunch of pictures of that.
I like that he's already on top of. There's definitely a body in there.
Yeah, this doesn't belong
I want
here.
the jury to know.
Yeah,
right.
They know what they're looking for here. So they end up. They take the wood plank up. Once they pull it up, they pull a little more dirt out with their shovels, and then they see some blue canvas. Okay. They go, holy shit, what the fuck here? So everyone, and the one guy said, he's here, he's going to be here. Everyone told me he's buried under the well, but we're still inside the well's foundation.
Got it.
So it's that sort of thing here. They go over, they look in, and they find Jimmy Don. They find his body under there. It's pretty rough. The whole thing, he's in a fetal position from this whole thing. Then they find under him him, once they pull that out, they're like, there's more canvas under here. What's that? Holy shit, it's Wayne.
Oh, boy.
So they find both the bodies
right
under
together.
there. Right there. They said the skull and the rest of the bones were brown, contaminated by decomposition.
Sure.
There was strands of dark hair that still clung to the top of the skull.
Oh, good
Bits of
Christ.
tissue remained,
Oh, no.
especially the nose. They said you could see see the profile from this, and they said that the dentures were still there, but the lips were gone, so it looked like a fucked up smile.
Oh, my God.
Type of thing. It's completely fucking crazy. And also, they found a bullet hole in his skull.
Okay.
So they were like, well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
That's how it happened. So now they have both these bodies. And who could have tipped these people off?
Yeah.
It's her son. Her son tipped them off because her son was enlisted the same way Shirley was to help bury Jimmy Don. He had to do the same exact thing.
And he had some remorse?
It's the exact same thing that happened with Shirley. Yeah, and he was questioned about it, and he finally was just like, she fucking buried him in the yard. Yeah. She killed him. She buried him in the goddamn yard. That's where he is.
Why didn't she go to the other one that didn't say shit? I mean,
I don't know. I guess maybe Jimmy Don was heavier.
Yeah, maybe
she needed a little more help. Or maybe Shirley was out of town. Or you can really only ask your kid to bury one body with you. You know, one body per child. She's got 4 more husbands to kill based on her child rearing here. So then they talked to Shirley, the daughter, and she admits that she helped bury Barker back in 1981. So now they're like, wow, this fucking lady, nice mother you got here. This lady killed. Happy Mother's Day.
No doubt.
So July 11th, 1985, she's indicted for capital murder because this is trying to get insurance money out of this. Right. They figure that's the reason. She pleads not guilty, obviously. The balls. Yeah, no shit. During the trial, you want to talk about balls?
Yeah.
You know what her strategy was during the trial?
No.
The trial? Not I didn't do it. It was my kids did it.
Wow.
They knew. They buried him. Why are you blaming me? They're just trying to put it on me now because they got caught. Right. They killed 2 of your husbands for some reason, so you could get whatever. So they ended up testifying against her at trial, telling them exactly what happened. Drove him outside, didn't drag him out, do the whole deal. Fucking Robert, it was Robbie. See, you should have kept Bobby.
Yeah,
Robbie was pissed. Yeah. Robbie's like, you send me to live with my dad, I will testify the fuck against you. Bobby's like, no, I wouldn't have said shit. Right. I like you. The whole thing was kind of fucking nuts. The son, was serving a 6-year. It was on probation for 6 years on a burglary conviction. And he told the court that when he went motorcycle riding and came back to the house and, quote, I helped her take the body out of the house to a mock wishing well that me and Jimmy Don had built. So he helped this guy build the well and then buried him in it. So he's a very helpful guy. He'll just help anybody.
So nice.
They said at this point, why did you say anything? And apparently he told his common law wife at the time about it, and they were breaking up, and she was threatening to tell. So he said, "Fuck it, I'll admit it."
I'll sing too.
Yeah, and he said he was protecting his mother. They said, "Why would she be blaming you?" And he said, "I don't know. She's lying now, saying I killed him when she's the one that killed him." So this is a crazy white trail. This is like Phillips, Oklahoma.
Ridiculous.
All fucking over again. This shit is nuts. He wanted to protect his mother. The daughter said the same thing. We drug him from the trailer outside to the back and put him in a hole that she had already dug. Blah, 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 like we talked about. But she said it at trial this time. Also, the life insurance people called saying that Beats was, trying to collect life insurance policies and all that sort of thing, and that she had collected. She was the recipient for all of his beneficiary for all his life insurance. Just your basic shit that you have to cross your T's, dot your I's in court. So October 11th, 1985 is the verdict. It does not take the jury very long at all when your own kids are testifying against you, especially 2 different ones.
Exactly.
She's guilty, no doubt there. October 14th, 1985 is sentencing, and so they consent. They have her up for the death penalty. So who knows if you're going to execute because at this point she is over 50 years old. So usually over 50-year-old women aren't executed for that much. We just don't do that. But they say, you, ma'am, may fuck off, sentence her to death.
Oh, my God.
It's going to kill Grandma.
They're going to kill Granny.
They're killing Grandma. So, yeah. In 85, she finds Jesus.
Yeah.
She finds Jesus. She said, when I looked into his face and eyes, I knew it was only by his grace. That's her quote about finding Jesus.
This guy hangs out in prison a lot.
He does. He really does. He should stop fucking up.
Yeah.
You're fucking up a lot.
Yeah.
He's like a crime and sports entourage member.
Get out of there, Jesus.
Come on, Jesus. So her conviction was obviously appealed automatically to the Texas Court of Appeals. There's a whole they affirm her conviction and sentence after they requested a rehearing the state requested a rehearing on one of these small details.
Sure.
There's a bunch of court details here that's very, very minutia that we'll get through because the story was so nuts here. She's trying 89. She tries to get a stay of execution. There's habeas corpus relief. There's her habeas petition here for her. 1990, she's supposed to be executed in 1990. She files another appeal to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court denies her appeal in late 1990. On December 3rd, 1990, less than 3 days before she's supposed to be executed, a federal petition for writ of habeas corpus and an application for a stay of execution in federal court is filed. So she has another stay. She has that granted in 1990. The court conducted a bunch of hearings on this. They granted relief on one of her claims for evidentiary hearings. They're going over the minutia of this whole thing.
Yeah.
This goes on 1991, 1992, 1993. It's still going on. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with her.
Aging like crazy.
Yeah, 93, her mother dies. Also, Bobby dies.
Oh, my
the sixth
God.
child. Poor little Bobby died. Little Bobby Brady's dead now.
Couldn't even trust him to live.
Fuck no. The sister Helen Prigine lady, the one from that Susan Sarandon portrayed in Dead Man Walking, gets on her side to try to, get her mercy from this whole thing. She said her daughters even try. Faye talks to the parole board, says, all mama's life she's been abused. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I don't know if the jury heard the truth about my mama. She could only have done something like this if she was very scared or threatened. I'm not saying that my mother should go free, but she should be allowed to live out her remaining years in prison.
Sure.
That's pretty premeditated. I'll give her the first one even, but the second one, when you shoot a guy who's sleeping.
It's a bit much.
Or Jimmy Don. No one ever said Jimmy Don was bad to her either.
Right.
Even she didn't say Jimmy Don beat her up or anything like
Pretty
that.
good dude.
She just wanted the insurance money and didn't feel like dealing with him. Problem, too, they did a bunch of... The reason why she kept getting stays is her lawyer was a piece of shit, apparently. E. Ray Andrews. He's described as a convicted felon, an unscrupulous and incompetent lawyer, and an unpredictable alcoholic who puts his own interest before those of his clients. His malfeasance has tainted nearly everything he has touched in this case. Andrews' checkered past includes spans 3 decades. He has more than 24 civil judgments and tax liens filed against him, totaling $130,000, including unpaid debts dating from as far back as the 1970s. Wow. And a bunch of drunken driving and bad checks.
Yeah.
This is her attorney.
He doesn't pay his bills and he drinks like a motherfucker.
Yes. I'm sorry. This wasn't her attorney. This was the district attorney. I apologize.
That's
why I said her attorney. I'm like, that's not her attorney. It's the goddamn district attorney. Not long after he was elected, he sought to solicit a bribe from a local businessman who was accused of killing his wife.
Wow.
An FBI affidavit said. So this tainted the whole goddamn thing here. There's more. There's rehearings and rehearings for panels, blah, 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 blah. The whole thing goes up to 2000. In 2000, she is on death row. She says about killing her husbands. They said, did you do it? And she said, quote, I wouldn't willingly do that, but I don't remember what happened then. It's just a blank to me. She said, my time is running out and the state of Texas will pick up where my husband's left off. While the Texas law enforcement are out there did nothing to help me. It's now legal for them to finish the job. So she's obviously looking for some sympathy on that whole deal. She's looking for a stay of execution from then Governor George W. Bush, who was running for president, and this was a big hot button political issue. Do we kill grandma or not? That could come up on the campaign trail. So it was a big deal. February 22nd of 2000, the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles denies her clemency request. George Bush tells her to pound sand and eat dicks. In his whole time, they killed hundreds of people. He only commuted one sentence. Wow. One. So that's the wrong place to fucking go there.
Don't do it in Texas.
No, not at all. She is scheduled to die on February 24th, 2000 at 6:18 p.m. Central Time. She refuses her last meal like an asshole. We don't get to see shit. But if she did have a last meal, it would be fried chicken and
You
mashed
bet.
potatoes, I feel.
Jam
So let's
that
just pretend
shit
that.
down your throat,
And
Grandma.
a Dexatrim chaser.
You
Bouncing
can't
off
do
the
it on-
chair.
You can't do it on an empty stomach.
No, you really can't. She refuses last words.
Really?
Also, but she smiled at her attorney and passed her when she was injected.
Oh.
So that was her last thing here.
I cheered up, bitch.
I cheered up, bitch. There. How you like that? So she dies at 6:18 p.m. in the Huntsville, Texas death house. This is the second in 2 days, by the way, execution in Texas.
Really?
They kill them off real quick here. The Beets family and the Barker family speak out. The Beets family, James Beets, Jimmy Don Jr., looks like he's from Texas. He's got a cowboy hat on and a collarless buttoned-up shirt and the whole deal. He says, I don't really know what to say. It's been a long 17 years. He shows his daughter there, and he says, this is my dad's granddaughter. She will never get to see her grandfather. But today we need to make a statement and stop all of this murder because putting people and good people through things like this, we need to get the Lord back into the United States, into people's hearts, and quit this killing of kids, grown-ups, and murder, period. Nobody deserves to go through this, and I ask that God be with her family. Now they know now she knows what we feel like.
Wow.
So they're against the death penalty under the Lord reasons. Rodney Barker, the son, is a little bit different. Wayne's son, a slightly different view. He says, I would just like to thank the state of Texas for the 19 years of misery they have put me through. I saw justice finally tonight. We're tired of hearing about Betty Beets. I want people to know that victims have rights too.
He even took the
fuck
Lou out
you.
of her.
Yeah, fuck that blue shit. So Doyle Wayne Barker is buried. He doesn't even have a death date. It's just birth date, and then
because I don't
died
know.
blank. Jimmy Don is also buried. He's buried in Rose Lawn Memorial Gardens in Seagaville, which is in Dallas County there somewhere. And that is Gun Barrel City,
My
Texas.
Christ.
And that's Betty Lou, Donovan, Branson Lane, Threlkeld, Barker Beets. Holy shit. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. If you like that, please get on iTunes and give us 5 stars. It's immensely helpful. If you want to do more than that, God, it's welcome and
Her
loved.
credit is so perfect.
I had to tack them all on there at the
What
end.
a name.
You can make a donation over at patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can make a one-time donation there. And while you got our email address, you can use that to send us anything you want. Talk to us. Tell us a case that's around you that might be cool. Or you can hit us up at Twitter, which is @MurderSmall. Also on Instagram, Small Town Murder, and Facebook.com/SmallTownPod. So we're all over the damn place. You can find us somewhere with different names everywhere, but you'll find us. Don't worry. Just search for Small Town Murder. That is that. Holy shit. We have an insanely long list of people
really
right
do.
here that we have to get to because they're the most important people because they make this happen.
Yeah.
Jimmy, why don't you hit us with that list?
This week we've got a fucking just a load of people, obviously, because
Amazing load.
we had to skip a week.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we couldn't do it live
it's
shows.
2 weeks, and it's extra. It seems like just because people went out of their ways.
They
to
were
help
so
us.
great to us.
guys.
Thank you.
Jennifer, our executive producers are Jennifer Slack, Talitha Hennessy, Aaron Cox, Nicole Jason, who actually donated twice through Patreon, and then
Wow.
gave us a big donation over on PayPal.
That's amazing.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Katie Heisel, who goes out of her way to make maps and then come to live shows and hang out with us, and then donated on top of that. You're
Thank you.
such a nice
That was
person.
amazing. Thank you. It was really
Katie.
nice to meet you, too.
Truly. Carrie Clark and Chrissy Ann Castaldi never stops. She's always around. Thank you so
Amazing.
much,
You're
Chrissy.
always incredible,
You're
Chrissy.
so
Thank you.
great. And then Era Abraham. I almost got it. Abrahamian? Abrahamian.
I'm an Abrahamian.
Right.
I believe.
It's Abraham with iron on the end.
Principles of Abraham.
Thank you, Ara. I appreciate it. Or Era. Danny and Pat came to New York, and they were so amazing. Thank you guys so much. And Jesse and Drew.
Nice hanging with you in Nashville.
Mississippi. Yeah,
Thank you.
They drove up to Nashville.
Thanks
and
for
hang
your
out
help
with-
on that one.
Yeah, for real. You guys made that show pretty awesome. Tiffany came up to Nashville also because she was there for CrimeCon.
Oh,
and
cool.
took pictures for us.
Yeah.
Remember Tiffany? She's
Tiffany was
terrific.
awesome,
Yeah.
and her husband Chuck too.
Yeah,
Thank
Chuck
you,
was there too.
for coming
That's
out and
right.
hanging with us.
Otilia Abraham, thank you very much. Lee Cummings, who's actually a Phoenix comic, she
we
donated
know her.
to us.
Yeah, Lee's
thank
the
you so
best.
much, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. She's so cool.
Whitley Ingle Dawkins.
Sorry for all the Mormon jokes,
That's
Lee.
true. Yeah, sorry about that. Jesse Hartman donated twice in the last 2 weeks. Thank you, Jesse. Regine Montlouis, I'm not sure which it is. Nicole Dainzer, who's been around for a while also.
Thank you.
Diana Price, Kendra Andell, Stacy Rushworth donated twice. Thank you, Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you,
I was
Stacy.
going to thank Rushworth.
Maybe.
Right. Well, that's
Thank you,
what I was going to
Rushworth.
do. Thank you. Joshua Cass, 40 tipper. I imagine they drink a lot of 40s. I don't know what that is. Olivia Garrett, Jason Fuller, who's fantastic.
We love him, Jason.
Thank you
Thanks,
for the
man.
shirts and the hats, Jason. I got to send you something. Thank you. Sarah Fletcher, Paul Roost, who makes all the memes and stuff. He donated twice. Thank you. Lorraine Schwinson. Schwinso, that's what it is.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
W. And either way, it's a tough last name. Jason Aselta is around everywhere. Thank you, James. Appreciate you being around. Did I say Jason Aselta?
I think you did it first.
I meant James.
Thanks, James.
Either way. Robert Burns donated 3 fucking times this past week. Thank you so much, Robert. Edward Gow, Athena Patel, Shannon Russell.
Thank you.
Ashiria, mother, son of a bitch. Ashiria Rangviv Takic. No, it's not right. But Asheria, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nicholas Mahmoud, Connie Young, Under the Sea Fabrics. She donated twice also.
Thank you.
Matthew Rodman, Kate Myers, Cameron Lansford, Courtney Pentecost, Seth Kuehl, Chris Voss, Abigail Stenner, Nicole Cross, Carol Chan, Mary Faust, Leonie Nylon, Sarah McCullough times 2. Thank you so much, Sarah. Fucking incredible.
Thank you.
So much.
That's amazing. Above and beyond. We
Truly.
appreciate it.
Kristen Quintiliani, that's what it
Hey,
is.
that's a good one.
I knew that one. Randy Ginn, Carol Braun, David Evans, Barbara Pagani also donates. She donates so much. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. That's
Domestic
amazing.
Goddess at your service. I don't know what that is. I imagine she'll clean your house. I think. I don't know. Sigrid Wellhausen. Yeah. Sigrid Wellhausen. Marissa Wells, Kim Hodgkiss, Ulterior Mining. Marissa Wells is around a lot, too, and so is Jake LeBeer. Thank you both so much. Janice Hill, Ted Cyrus again. Thank you, Ted. Zachary Pelletier. Robert Lipinski. Janice Hill, I think I said that. Lorenda Lieber. Laura Souter. Elizabeth Rutke. Nicholas Heitman. Mariah Minhier. That's the one over in Norway. I think.
Yeah.
No, it's not Norway. Fuck. I always forget where she is. Neelu Rafsanjani. She's a bodybuilder up in San Francisco. She came to a show. Thank
awesome.
you so much, Neelu. Wyvern Workshop. I don't know what that is. Maria Shashiri. Tan Kim. She came to the San Diego show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Tan.
Nice to meet you.
December Theron. Todd Crago times 2. Thank you so much, Todd. Heather Chamness. Matthew Wint. Cassandra Meyer, also 2 weeks in a row.
Wow,
Stephen
amazing.
Mace, I think that's also, is that Doug Mace? I think so. That's the guy, Doug Mace is the one that brought that shit to Philly, that big-ass bottle of beer, that like 2
Yeah. That
Unbelievable.
was insane.
No, I think that's the same dude. If it's not Stephen and Doug, thank you both. I wrote this really terribly. Ira Poidian. Is it, what did I do there? Is that an A or an I or an R? Poidian. I think that's right. Stacy Johnson, we're moving on because I'm an idiot. Teresa Schuschenflug, Molly Glenn, Cassandra Meyer, I think I said her already. Sarah Jackman, Diana, what am I doing? Diana Libman, and then Diana McCann. Rob Madursky, who came to, which one did he come to? I think it was New York.
Yes,
I'm pretty
I think
sure it was
so.
New York. He came with his daughter. Thank you both so much. Rohit Sharma, he also sent us shirts that are hand-painted.
Oh, that's
Thank
amazing.
You, Rohit.
Thank you.
Michelle Leposky, Chandel Whitney, Oak Tree Selling, I'm not sure what that is, Angela Wells, Emily Allen, Jade Hughes, Michelle Kreider, Sarah Toasty, thank you so much, Sarah, Mariella Rosas, Steve Tancredi, I don't know, Ben Richards, Craig Ventura, Laura Culpepper, Nicole Roxborough, Kate Myers, I think I said that one also, Tater Deitline, Tater Deitline? I think
Sure.
I think they're trying to fuck with me.
Probably,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure they're trying to fuck with me. Daly, Dana Bartram. Thank you so much, Dana. You're terrific. Eric Mauger, Brandis, Kapishki. Brandis Kapishki, that's it. Nina Tedeschi, Renee Miller, Meg Dainty, Jeffrey Geiler, Mary Hunt, Dorothy Crawford, Sarah Fletcher, Sierra Steiner, Lauren King, Curtis Vasich, Nikki Eisenhower, and the Emotional Badass Team. I'm not sure what that is, but thank you all much. The
We'll
whole
take it.
team.
Thank you
Sarah
for all of you.
DeGuia, Megan Smith. She's so So fantastic. Thank you so much, Megan. Jason Mateo, Karen Lambiasi, Barbara Pagani, Rain Finch. I think it's Rain.
We're
Could
gonna
be
go with
Ren.
that.
Could be Ren Finch.
Shit,
I'll bet
yeah.
it's French. I'll bet that's Ren Finch.
Oh, man.
I bet I'm
That's
wrong.
probably wrong.
Jenny Edwards, Diana
We both look
Salyers,
at now.
Juanima Van Zant, Mariana Hender, Allison Abernathy, Elizabeth Heitbrink, Emily Shearhorst, Kay King, Bree Ryan up in Montana. Thank you so much, Bree. Vanessa LaFoya, Megan Nicholson, Amy Pohanic in Denver is fucking fantastic.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you
She
so
is the
much,
best.
Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
True Crime Clothing, Brandon Coffrin, Robert Tesser, Sarah Peterson, Sarah Hogan, Toby Douglas, Randy, Ben Kratzley, Elliot Varagan, Roy J., Hager, holy mother, what? Svel, Hager Svelin, I'm just going to go. I'm going to slam through it. Ready? Svelinuzizerwiskin.
Perfect. That's. I think you nailed it, Jimmy.
Melissa
I think you
Allen in
got it,
L.A.
brother.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Adam Miller, Kendall Passmore, Michael Malone, Delaney Trotter, Mark O'Reilly, Jacqueline Hall, James Sear, or Kyer, Robin Melissa Lane, John Schwang, Michael Paul, Nikki Buckingham, River O'Brien, Bridget, with no last name, Mariah Kelly, Bradley Kaus, Susan West, Michelle Bowman, Danielle Wall, it's Brian Woodman, Samantha Lotzi, Diana Evans, Elizabeth Knox, Sarah Willis, Tyler Hawkins, Susie Platt, Harry Bridges. Is that fucking with me a little?
Maybe not.
Maybe
that could
not.
be right.
That could be a real
Harry
name.
Bridges is
It's a bit,
wouldn't be Bridges.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Samantha Trump.
Harry anything is just,
Anytime somebody's name is Harry,
Unless
it's
it's
just
like, Smokalopoulos or something, you're like, that's it fucking with me.
Harry Banks, they're fucking with me, right? Kimberly Johnson, Nicole with no last name, Jamie Lynn, Ingrid Stock, Brenna Pink Pampina. I don't know if that's a real name. I'm not sure. Sal Taylor Gowder, Stacy Langto, Anthony Perry, Doug Mace. That's their Doug. Kelly Higby, Laura Murr. Fan-fucking-tastic of
thanks,
you.
Laura.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
everything.
coming around with us from
Thanks for
show to
coming to
show.
all those shows.
It was great to see
She
you.
followed us like the dead. We
Right,
appreciate
it was
it.
amazing. Her and her husband both. Russ
Yeah,
Lundgren,
thanks,
Ricky Dickey, Stephanie Strauss. Ricky Dickey, is he fucking with me?
Maybe.
He's not, is he? He is. Rebecca Kotlarek. Graham Sprague, Mike Hornung, Hope Mowry, Sarah Wasmer, Angela Rowe, Brad Young, Danielle Leonard, yes, Angela Rowe, I said that. Heather LaCharity, I think that's right. Heather LaCharity, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why
Julie
not?
Stoltz, Mae Peterson, Christine Peterson. Wow, that's weird. Those two together. They must have done it together. Probably,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah,
Probably.
maybe they're together.
Shauna Lumley, Stacy with no last name, Jessica Gore, Chaz Lacey, Cedric Wardell, Siobhan. Yeah, Siobhan. It's Chevonne.
Yeah,
That's Siobhan, though, right?
Siobhan,
that's
yeah.
white people spelling of
That's- yeah.
Siobhan. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, white people.
Siobhan is
pretty white.
That's white
Anyway.
dog.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. Kelly Walsh, Amber Smith, Adam Lewis, Matthew Silverwood, Anthony Monteleone, Denise Bray, Paul Smith, Danielle Longamore, Durso, Helen and young man Huxley, Ellen Farney, Veronica Swift, David, I'm an asshole.
yeah.
Sorry, Veronica.
Sorry, we know you.
David Hadnut, Juanita McCullough.
There you go.
I thought there was an H there.
Slap a T in there.
Right. Ashley Bertram, Karen Lewis, Michelle L. Randall, Gygax fan. Gygax, by the way, is the founder of D&D, isn't it? Isn't that? I think that's true. And I
have no idea.
I'm an asshole because I didn't know what it was last time. But they donated again, so
thank you.
All right. Ron Beliza, Nikki Buckingham, Miranda Manasian or Manassian. It looks like Manasian, but
Probably Manasseh. That sounds better, yeah.
Leanne Swar, Angel Echevara, Zachary Liebling, Ben Casto, Sierra Steiner, Dionysus 89. I don't know what that is. Ellsworth Simeona. Simeona. He's that dude up in. No, that's Kenworth. Never mind. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Richard Ticklebags. Oh, that dude's fucking with me
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
Dick
Absolutely.
Ticklebags, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say so.
Cammie Payne, Tracy, Travis Gage, not Tracy. Travis Gage and Sarah. Jason Butson. Is he fucking with me?
That's a tough one.
Every time I get these, I go, "Are you fucking with me?"
Unless the word dick or balls is in there, let's just assume it's
Ticklebags.
real for now. Yeah.
Diana Libman, Hillary Stevie, Elizabeth Kelly, Joanne Behringer, Giselle Kwan, Gisela Kwan, that's what it is. Peter Elson Guidon, Devin with no last name. I think that's Devin in New York. Adam Jones, Amy Heiler, CJW, I don't know what that is. Kimberly Owens Goldstein, Kimberly Weekly, Grace Miller, Dylan Lincoln, Jessica Wilson, Kathleen Lincoln, Jessica Taylor, Nicole Miles, and we're home stretch free.
Let's do it.
Kimberly Baum, James Phipps, Melissa Saver Williams, Mike with no last name, Angelo Flota. That's your your cousin. Yeah. Dita Vasquez.
Thanks,
the guy's up in New York, right?
Yeah,
Angelo.
thanks, brother.
And what was the other dude's name? Was that the guy that was at the show? Was it Angelo?
Yeah, Angelo's the one at the
Angelo
show.
Flota. Yeah. Alyssa Rouse, Cheyenne Rodriguez, Kyla Nicole, Chrissy Ramsey, Robert Stone. That might be my uncle. It may not be because that's a common fucking name.
Very common name.
Kath Martin, Bria Green, Trish Wilson, Nicole Harris, Mackenzie Smith, Nicole Marino, Michael Jarling. No, McKay Jarling? I just missed the L. God damn it. I was almost
there, Jimmy.
Abby Crabill or Craybill. Either way, you guys are fucking amazing.
Thank you guys so much. Honestly, that means the world to us. I know that was a long list, but like I said, we skipped a week, and and those people are important, and they deserve their due because they helped us out, and they continue to help us out, being our producers and the people that fucking matter in this whole thing. Yeah. None of the other shit matters. It's all about what you guys like, and we'll bring that to you because all that other bullshit, it matters zero if we don't have you guys. Right. So nothing else matters. So we want to make you guys happy. And thank you for helping us always.
Everything that happens at the live shows is so much fun to see happen. It's so much fun just to have you guys there. So thank you.
We really did have a great time. And what if one of these fine people wanted to get a hold of you and tell you all about their great time? How might they do that, Jimmy?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And thank you guys again. Bottom of my heart stuff. Being around is fucking that's the majority of it. You guys listening is the biggest part of this, so thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm at Jimmy P is funny. You can get a hold of me there or just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Don't try to be a hero because you will fuck it up. That said, guys, we can't tell you how thankful we are to be back and how thankful we are to all of you for hanging out with us for that whole month and to keep hanging out with us each and every week. We'll keep coming back each and every week. And until next week, guys, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.